Good evening and welcome into the Fowler Kia pregame show here on the Golden Eagle Broadcast Network. I'm Ian McKendry alongside Carly Evans, and we're coming to you live from Everly-Montgomery Field, ready to go tonight as your Golden Eagles take on the Skyline Falcons. Carly, it's going to be a great game, and Frederick is ready to fly. What is your Fowler focus for tonight's matchup?
Frederick definitely is ready to fly. You know, talking to the team pregame, they are fired up. I saw Del Pitts down on the sideline with Dante Lechuga, who you will hear from later, obviously, as he will be down on the sideline. But, you know, just listening to kind of their chatter, he's so prepared for this game, especially coming off of such a big game last week. I mean, he is prepared, and once you get Sonny fired up about something, that is going to stick with him for the rest of the season, to be quite frank. Yeah,
Sonny Del Pitts, he really carried Frederick last week against Meade, especially coming out of the second half. He had a great punt return early. It was closer to the end of the first half, actually, and then he really dominated through the run game in the second half and really was able to get Frederick to move the ball, and then a few mental mistakes from Frederick's offense that really struggled for them to just get any points on the board. The Fowler Kia pregame show is the place where we set the stage for everything you're about to see. Carly, let's get ready for kickoff under the Thursday night lights and break down the keys for tonight's matchup.
Beautiful segue into Carly's keys, the classic, of course. First one that I kind of want to talk about is Cover 2 lockdown. This is important for a few different reasons. And what exactly will this look like? Well, specifically, I want to focus on Tampa 2 variations that kind of focus on forcing the quarterback into these riskier scenarios, specifically throwing it, kind of squeezing these passes in, you know, based on Morales' stats and gameplay I've seen. He already tends to feel pressure and chuck it up a lot hastier than some other QBs. We're going to talk a little bit later about his interceptions. Basically, it eliminates those attempted explosive plays. And if Morales is willing to try, it kind of opens up a lane for Frederick to jump in front of passes and routes and possibly intercept the ball with a higher percentage, as I'm going to say later, especially given his interception rates so far in the season. Second one that I have is win the turnover battle. We need to win the turnover battle. This is crucial. We saw some, as you said earlier, Ian, some costly mental mistakes. And Skyline, based on footage I've seen, they tend to have some of these riskier plays, especially with their mental mistakes, and that is costing them some crucial plays that they need to be able to convert on. But basically, it is crucial, very, very crucial, that we win the turnover battle. I feel like we've struggled with this. We've had balls literally in our defenders' hands. I've seen so many times where there's been a safety, went up and bobbled it and then dropped it, and that has happened quite a few times. And it's one of those where we need to be able to complete those and just make sure opposing offenses, specifically Skyline Falcons, don't run rampant with the score. You know, we won't have to rely on late rallies in the game like prior, which has kind of been the feeling these past two games. Obviously, some of the rallies haven't been, as eventful, because it's been one of those where it's almost like, you lose motivation once it gets to a certain point, especially last week with the Meade loss. I mean, I feel like everyone felt that, and everybody, it takes a toll on you. And so I really want to see how they bounce back, from starting the season 0-2. It is completely manageable. I mean, I was talking with Dante pregame. He mentioned it is completely manageable to bounce back from something like 0-2. I mean, 0-2 is literally just the start of what could be an incredible season.
And last year, we also started off 2-0 last year. So Skyline was 0-2, sorry. 0-2 last year, and Skyline was kind of our get-back game.
Yes.
A 43-9 win in that game.
I mean, it was a decimation, to be quite honest.
Yeah, I mean, at home with the crowd behind your back, coming off a devastating loss at Meade, the 1-point loss. But it's kind of similar here. I would almost rather get blown out because it's not as heartbreaking to lose.
Yes.
But this team is still upset from that loss against Meade. They're ready. They're fired up. They're ready to go tonight.
100%. And I mean, there were so many emotions that were just roiling in the players' heads last week. I mean, that's one of those that's a loss you're never going to forget, and that's going to stick with you for you don't know how long, but you know that is motivational right there. Like, this is our get-back game. Last key that I really want to talk about is opening drive opportunities. We've started the games off kind of slow whenever it comes to momentum. Obviously, as you said, we had, that big punt return from Del Pitts early on in that first half, but it's one of those where those plays have felt very lackluster in the first half. And it's one of those where if we want to be able to hold our momentum and kind of keep up with Skyline's offense, I want to see some of these explosive plays consistently happening throughout the game. I want them to be able to set the tone of the game, set the competition for Skyline, so Skyline has to raise their bar to what Frederick wants.
Yeah, you said it perfectly there. I want Frederick to make Skyline come off their back foot and have to be the team to catch up, not trying to just run the score up and Frederick having to play catch-up ball all game long. As Carly, I'm looking forward to seeing it all tonight. Tonight's broadcast is brought to you in part by Fowler Automotive. From sales to service, Fowler is proud to keep you moving and support our community schools. Fowler Automotive, driven by integrity, powered by you. It's football time in Longmont as you've been watching the Fowler Kia pregame show on the Golden Eagle Broadcast Network.
You've likely heard in the news that interest rates are way too high, homes are just not selling, and the real estate market is about to crash at any moment. Hi, I'm Kendra Badgekar, your local real estate expert, and I've been serving Carvin Valley and Northern Colorado for over 7 years, and I've got some good news. The truth is, there are several creative finance options to get your interest rate down to a much lower rate if you're thinking about buying a home. And yes, homes are taking a little bit longer to sell, but with the right marketing strategy, they are still selling for a great value, so your equity is safe. If you're thinking about making a move this year, let's grab a cup of coffee and talk about the best way to get you there.
I'm Jake Marsing, social studies teacher and advisor of the Golden Eagle Broadcast Network, and you're watching GEBN. Go Golden Eagles!
The following is a presentation of the Golden Eagle Broadcast Network. Student-led, student-centered, student-serving.
Welcome into the Golden Eagle Broadcast Network. I'm Ian McKendry. Alongside me is Carly Evans, as tonight the 0-2 Skyline Falcons hosting the 0-2 Frederick Golden Eagles here in Longmont, Everly-Montgomery Field, as we hear the Skyline Falcons coming on out. Carly, it's going to be a great night for some football.
I am definitely looking forward to tonight, especially as we talked about that whole get-back game mentality. I know that you are definitely probably more prepared.
I am
some
so
of the
ready.
Other players. I do have to say, I don't know if we can possibly get a shot of this sometime later on in the game, but they have a tunnel, and I kind of wish we had a tunnel. That's bragging rights right there to get a tunnel.
It's pretty sweet. It's a little blow-up tunnel. It looks like a Broncos blow-up tunnel.
Yes.
But yeah.
It's still cool, though. It's a cool addition.
It's going to be a great night for some football tonight as we just await Dante Lechuga down on the sideline, getting ready for his hit tonight, as we will throw it down there to him on the sideline. Dante.
Hi guys, I'm Dante Lechuga down here on the sideline as the Skyline Falcons are getting ready to take on your Frederick Golden Eagles here tonight. It's a big night as your Golden Eagles are looking for their first win of the season after last week's loss to the Meade Mavericks. Something to note about tonight is starting running back Cody Salazar for the Golden Eagles is out with an ankle injury that's been lingering since last year. We'll see how much this affects the game plan, with Sonny Del Pitts having one of the biggest games of his career last year. It's going to be a great night, and I'm going to send it right back up to you, Ian.
Thank you, Dante, as we are back up here in the booth, Carly. It's going to be a great night for some football. Let's talk about some of the key players coming into tonight's game. One of the key players I have for Frederick, we'll get to another one here in a minute. He's going to be the keyest player of tonight's match. Yep. But we're going to talk about Marcus Salmeron, defensive weapon. He's leading the team in tackles this year, 12 tackles per game, which is impressive. He had 18 against Broomfield, and he had 10 last week against Meade, as it's going to be a great game for him, hopefully, because he's also coming in and he's going to be the starting running back tonight for Frederick. Cody Salazar, as Dante talked about, he's nursing that ankle. He's going to be out for a couple weeks. it's gonna be an interesting one for him tonight.
I was about to say, it'll definitely be interesting to kind of see what will be made of it.
Yeah, we're gonna throw it down to the sideline for the national anthem. As we are back up here in the booth, Carly, as we got momentary there for the national anthem. As we come back here, we're going to talk about Skyline's key player, someone to hone in on. We talked about him a little bit in pregame, but Servano Morales, the quarterback, the dual threat quarterback at that. He is one of the most elusive guys on the field. He leads the team in not only rushing yards, but passing yards as well. Obviously, being a quarterback, you're going to lead the team in passing yards. But rushing yards, as a dual threat quarterback, Frederick really has to find a way to close down his lanes, trap him in the pocket, not allow him to get loose. Last week against Bear Creek, when he got loose, and he made plays happen. But obviously, when he's under pressure, when he's in the pocket, struggling, he had 5 interceptions last week. So Frederick, expect a lot of heavy blitzing from them tonight. We talked to Micah Sangapulatelli pregame, or in class today before we head on this little road trip, and he was talking about how Frederick's expecting to bring a lot more pressure tonight. So be on the lookout for that for Frederick. It's going to be an exciting one. Hopefully keep him in the pocket, not allow anything to happen.
100%. And I mean, kind of talking pregame with Micah, it's one of those where he has the best insight, honestly, and it's one of those where it's nice to hear that finally we're going to see a little bit more action, specifically at the line and kind of, in the pocket of the opposing quarterback, because it feels like, a lot of the times we're not blitzing, we're kind of, pulling back, which there's nothing wrong necessarily about, dropping into, zone coverage or anything, but it's one of those where I would love to see a little bit more action, like in the pocket, like, watching Morales attempt to roll out. I want to see them pinch him from both sides and make sure that he has no lane, as you put it, no lane to travel to. And I think Frederick is going to bring the blitz and bring the pressure. And I'm kind of excited specifically to see what Eddie Riley and Colt Hoagie can kind of make of it, because those two before have been threats.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm expecting a big game out of Eric Ross tonight, too. He had a lot of pressure on Meade last week. He had a few goal line stops, which were crucial overall against Meade. But Eric Ross, he's a dominant player on the D-line. He can get in there, make plays happen when they need to happen. But our last key player, Frederick's probably most key player we talked about, is Sonny Del Pitts. Sonny, he is one of the most elusive, he's one of the biggest threats on this team for Frederick. Last week he had 13 carries, 67 yards, 8 receptions, 118 yards. 50 of those receiving yards came from that little toss play from DeGesualdo to Del Pitts. Watching that from the sideline was just, it was crazy. You see the whole crowd's got the energy. Everything happened there. It was beautiful from Del Pitts, but he's going to be the biggest player tonight. He's leading the team in rushing and receiving yards, and he basically carried the team against Meade last week.
100%. Del Pitts is going to be a player to look out for, another player to look out for. Kind of, grouping, I think, Del Pitts with Reno DeGesualdo. He also had himself that game. Specifically, you mentioned that hook and ladder that happened. It was one of those where I think it was a happy accident almost, talking with Reno DeGesualdo. I work with him, funny enough. So I had some great chatter with him. But, he talked about how crucial that play was in kind of flipping flipping the tide almost, turning the tide of the game. And although they didn't come out with the win, it was one of those where those big momentous plays are exactly what you're looking for in this game. And if you can pretty much replicate those plays that you saw that were crucial and paid off last game, I think you have a much better chance given, watching some of the film on, the Falcons defense. They're not quite at the par that the Mavericks defense is at. And I mean, the Mavericks defense, their D linemen are humongous. Like, their D linemen were massive. And it was one of those where good luck stopping them.
There were some big dudes on that defensive line for sure.
Yes, our O-line definitely struggled a little bit to kind of hold them at bay. But I'm excited to see what's to come from this game.
As Cahoon boots it into the air, and we are off. Skyline on the return. Frederick kind of clamping down. They had that big kick return early from Broomfield, as that ball will be returned to about the 17-ish yard line. The return that time by Bobby Knapp on the return. So Frederick's defense will be coming on the field first.
And this is the first look that, honestly, you want to see right now. The defense, they've done an excellent job. But I think last game specifically, they just spent so much time on that field. They were gassed the entire second half of that game. And you could tell, they were holding Meade at bay as best as they could. But it's really hard to keep that momentum going whenever you are on the field every 3 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. As we will see Morales in the shotgun. He's going to hand it off. A trick play on the first play of the game. That ball's in the air. Martinez in the area, and he drops the interception. Incompletion. Big trick play to start the game off from Skyline's offense.
I mean, that was quite the look. Very first play of the game. I think they jumped the gun a little bit. Watching them, obviously, he tossed it, and then there was the whole, oh my goodness, where's he going to throw it to? And he, first look, he was able to find the man, but it was underthrown severely. And it was one of those where if we were able to kind of stop their first drive momentum, specifically right now, that pick was crucial.
Shotgun snap, gives it to Malt. Malt is going to be mauled by Frederick's defensive line there. No gain on the play. It's going to set up a 3rd and long here for the Skyline offense.
Beautiful job by the D lineman, specifically just closing that gap before he was able to find anything. Watching some of the Falcons footage, even just like a few minutes ago previously, one of the biggest things I saw was Malt struggles whenever that gap closes. He almost doesn't know where to go. He doesn't bounce it around outside. He tends to just stick in his lane, and that's something that was very noticeable right there. He didn't try to do much of anything elusive necessarily. He just stuck to his guns. But Frederick able to sniff it out before anything happened.
Morales again in the shotgun. Snap, takes it, gives it to Malt. Malt again following the blockers, but again, the flock of Eagles diving on top. Maybe a gain of 2 on the play. Frederick with a nice little 3 and out to start. Skyline will set on the punt team, and we will see Sunnydale Pitts back for Frederick to return.
Skyline, I feel like they're just kind of feeling it out right now, right? With that trick play, first and foremost, the near interception, very first play of the game, definitely interesting. But it's one of those where, like, Malt, I'm sure, is trying to get a feel, too, to see how, Frederick's D linemen are going to close the gap, to see what they do. But they're definitely bringing the pressure, and it's noticeable.
Short punt, very, very short punch. Coach Lloyd going to make the grab there. Ball will be spotted at the
Coach.
30-yard line. So Frederick, beautiful field position for Preston Kissinger in this offense. Coming on the field. And we'll see what they can do with this first drive.
And it looked like Landon Olsen came screaming around that side. As a defensive lineman, it's one of those where if you could put pressure, specifically pinching on that punter, I mean, he felt it right there. It's one of those where it doesn't necessarily take a tip to make that punter feel that pressure and just lob it up to the best of his abilities. I mean,
yeah, there was a lot of pressure in that backfield. Frederick goes in the I formation, first snap. Kissinger under center is going to give it off to Del Pitts. Del Pitts wrapping around, trying to go around the edge. Makes a move, gets a gain of about 3. Wrapped up there by Skyline. That'll be a gain of 3. It'll set up a 2nd and 7.
Yeah, I was expecting more, out of a little bit of the jet sweep action. I was expecting a little bit more of the O-lineman shifting with him, because it's one of those where, yes, granted, he can, Del Pitts takes whatever path he wants, and obviously that was beautifully orchestrated, but it's one of those where, you need your O-lineman to shift with whoever your running back is. In this case, Del Pitts in the backfield, able to snag it on just that quick sweep, and it's one of those where you need your D lineman to move with it, as now a little bunch formation.
Again, I formation again. They're going to give the pitch. Del Pitts, high pitch, and he immediately gets wrapped up and drove backwards. Roderick Hobbs in the backfield first, makes the first contact on Del Pitts. Looks like Del Pitts' cleat came off. So it's going to be back to a 3rd and long for Frederick.
3rd and long, not necessarily the ideal start to your first drive. This is where we need that momentum push. And that's very crucial right now. It's one of those where, as that was very interesting. I'm not quite sure.
Encroachment before the ball was snapped.
Yeah.
So a big 3rd down here from Kissinger in the offense.
This is a manageable 3rd down, though. It's one of those where we've seen 3rd downs where they've had to, complete it from 20 yards away. They've had to do something crazy where you thought it was almost unimaginable to see it, but this is completely manageable.
Play action pass. Kissinger looking downfield. It's going to be caught. That's Eric. That is actually Norwood on the grab. Big first down there from Frederick by the big wide receiver.
Yeah, Norwood standing at 6'5", 205 pounds. That is a tall kid. That is a big kid. Good luck, especially in traffic. Good luck grabbing that thing out of the air. I mean, they literally had to leap for it if they even wanted a snag at the ball. Beautiful pass by PK, too. I mean, he read that perfectly, throwing it over the heads of the defenders in traffic specifically. That's a beautiful confusion play.
Bunched up formation once again. PK is going to give it off to Eric Ross on the fullback dive. He's going to get 5. So it's going to set up a 2nd and short.
I'm loving the feeling that I'm getting from this first drive. This is the hope that I think Frederick has been looking for these past 2 games. They've been looking for that scrappiness, that kind of if you bite, we're gonna bite back, and that's something that I think we've been missing. These past 2 games, it's been one of those where it's been a slow start, but I feel like this right here, if you can score a touchdown on this drive, that is a statement for Frederick.
Same formation again. PK goes under center. Takes the snap, pitches it out to Del Pitts. Del Pitts finding the hole. Del Pitts jumping outside. He is going to be in. Touchdown, Frederick.
Del Pitts, beautiful read. He was able to sweep around to the outside. There was literally nobody over there, might I add. I mean, they kind of just watched him walk in.
Reno DiGesualdo on the far side. Beautiful lead block to get Sonny Del Pitts into that end zone. 6-0 Frederick as they send on Garrett Cahoon, who has been he's been very, very good this season. He's been a reliable
kicker, yeah, for sure. Which Frederick, me and Dante have talked about that before the past 2 games. It's hard to find a reliable kicker,
Exactly. The snap's good, hold. Cahoon's kick is going to be just a bit short, but they're going to get up over the uprights. So 7-0, an outstanding first drive from Frederick.
Kind of surprised they squeezed that one in. That ball looked like either it was, tossed around a little bit, maybe tousled and tipped, but somehow he was able to squeak it in. So props to Cahoon, props to Del Pitts for that beautiful read on that play, by the way. And DiGesualdo, obviously, with the block.
Yeah, I mean, that was really a key play there was DiGesualdo's block on the edge. I talked to him a lot, and he wants the ball more. He wants to get those passes, but to get to those opportunities, you need to be reliable in the run game with the blocking. And we've seen that a lot from Frederick's offense with a lot of run-heavy offense. DiGesualdo has done great blocking-wise, so great drive there from Frederick as Cahoon will set this ball up to kick it off and send Frederick's defense back on the field.
Honestly, and this has got to be a great feel. I know I talked a little bit pregame about the whole idea that, Frederick's defense has kind of felt gas because they've just been on, and it's been one of those where they haven't had a moment to breathe, and especially for, a versatile player like DiGesualdo who plays both offense and defense, you don't get time for yourself. You don't get a break, you don't get to breathe, and so it's one of those where it's kind of nice to see kind of a lax time period where you see them just be able to run it down, complete a few passes, make this crucial drive work, especially early on. With their opening drive. That is crucial to set momentum, and the defense, even though it was kind of a quick-ish drive, it's one of those where I think it gave them enough time to kind of set the pacing, specifically the pacing that they're going to have for Skyline's offense.
That was a calm and controlled offensive drive from Frederick there.
I don't think I've seen anything that beautiful yet, like this season. That was gorgeous.
Morales keeps it on the go, gets a move outside, missed tackle there. Del Pitts is going to be there. He's going to miss the tackle as well, pushing him out of bounds at around the 35-yard line. 15-yard gain there.
That was Eddie Riley, our outside linebacker. I talked about his crucialness in, this game specifically and just how well he's been playing. But I do have to say, he kind of had his ankle snapped on that play, watching him. He went for the shoelace, too, whenever he fell, which props to him for still trying, obviously, for the tackle. But, you know, it's very interesting to see Morales kind of dance around outside the pocket. You said that is going to be his deadliest weapon is his feet.
Man in motion, Morales keeps it again, but coming from behind, Colt Hoagie wraps him up, and Riley tried to go for the fumble, and he's still moving. Frederick's going to get him down after a gain of 3, but a couple overcommitments by Frederick's defense, missing those tackles.
Hoagie came screaming in. That literally could have been a sack. Easy peasy, but it's one of those where even pregame we talked about the elusiveness of Morales, and watching some of his footage from Bear Creek, he is very good at bouncing off of tackles, which is very impressive, you know, considering he's a quarterback. That's not necessarily what they're known for, but I mean, I think it just props to him for his elusiveness, but also props to Frederick's D for kind of figuring it out. It's just completion of the play that's crucial right now.
Morales in the shotgun again. Malt goes in motion, fakes the bubble screen. There he goes again. Morales shaking off another tackle. That was Salmeron flying down, trying to make a play there. It's going to be a 3rd and about 1. So Frederick, a crucial 3rd down stop here.
Morales a little slow to get up. Salmeron's a hard hitter. Watching him, you know, with some of his games, he's a hard hitter. And especially for a quarterback to take, you know, the brunt of it. Those are hard hits for your quarterback. And you know, interestingly enough, we talked about Salmeron and how many, you know, tackles and how many tackles for loss he's had, and just in general, he moves around that field, and he is great at sniffing things out. And I believe he is already credited on 2 or 3 tackles this game, and we are like just starting off.
Morales shotgun again. He's going to just keep it, dive right through the middle. He's going to bounce off his own line, but he's going to get just enough for the 1st down. The forward progress gives him 3 yards, so it'll set up a move in the sticks for Skyline that time.
Frederick wasn't able to push him back, and it's one of those where on those 3rd and shorts, you know, Frederick's look is very interesting because I would expect more so that whole idea of like closing him in. Yeah, exactly.
You want
encroaching and closing him in, because as soon as you allow him to kind of find his lane, which he's done beautifully so far this drive, it doesn't matter. You know, he can shovel pass it off. He can kind of do whatever he wants. He only has to gain a yard or 2. And so it's one of those where you really have to shut him down from the line of scrimmage, specifically if you can, behind the line of scrimmage.
Motion man once again. Malt's going to throw this time. Screen pass. Malt gets the catch, making a move down, gets a 7 or 8 on the play. So good job by Morales to get that pass off quick. Logan Malt on the reception.
Yeah, Hoagie came flying in behind the line. Obviously put pressure on Morales, but Morales pretty calm and collected in the pocket and able to find his man downfield for that screen. And they also had really good blockers on that play, might I just add.
Yeah, I agree. There was a great play there by that Skyline offense to just move the ball well. Morales in the shotgun. Malt lines up behind him. 2 wide receivers to his left.
He's got options.
They're going to give it to Malt. Malt's going to get taken down. That's Eddie Riley with the first contact. And a good stop there by Frederick. Loss of 2 on the play.
Riley this time cleaning up whatever mess he left behind on that on that play where, you know, we saw him bounce off the tackle and just shed it off like it was nothing. Riley able to wrap up this time and now bring a crucial 3rd down. I think right here, this 3rd down is very crucial for a few reasons. I mean, you look at, obviously, what are they going to do? Are they going to be aggressive? Are they going to just kind of be laxed about it? And specifically, what is Frederick's defense going to do? Because we saw that 3rd and short. This is a very similar situation, except this time he's got options.
Yep. Morales, shotgun, trying to get Frederick to jump off sides, looking towards the sideline, telling coach, what do we do here? It's going to be a timeout for Skyline. Frederick High School Booster Club carries on the long tradition of supporting students of this community. The purpose of the Booster Club is to provide the funding and manpower to the homecoming tailgate celebration. The after prom party grants students and groups and clubs as well as scholarships to graduating seniors. We are always looking for parent volunteers, so if you are invested in becoming involved, we would invite you to reach out through our website, fjsbooster.com, and click on the Contact Us or attend our next meeting in the library. If you are wanting to get more involved in the community and have a desire to do something that benefits the students of our community, we'd love to hear from you. Again, visit our website, fhsboosterclub.com, and click on the Contact Us if you'd like to get involved. We welcome any supporters, not just parents. The FHS Booster Club is a proud partner of GEBN. As they get set up, trips to the left. Tight end's going to come closer inside. Morales, like you said, he's have a lot of options here. I would not be surprised by if he keeps this ball here, takes it himself.
I mean, they only have 3 or 4 yards to gain right now.
Exactly what he does there. He goes, but I don't think he's going to get there. Frederick collapses on Morales. He's going to get about 2, it looks like. So it sets up a 4th and very, very short.
4th and, I would say, 1.5 yards, give or take, maybe a little bit less. But this right here is testy waters, I think, for Morales specifically. If they can't convert on this drive, they better convert on this drive. If you're a Skyline fan, that's exactly what you want. You want them to convert on this drive. They've been chewing clock, like, significantly. And so it's one of those where if you have been chewing this much clock and you still can't convert when it's crucial, what does that say about you? Also, the receiver on the other far end is lined up real far.
Quick throw. Morales hit as he's thrown. Dropped past that time. Frederick will get the ball back on a turnover on downs.
What a job right there. Marcus Salmeron on the takedown before anything was made possible. Beautiful read from him, too. Able to launch himself on the guy as soon as the ball made contact, kind of make it unstable contact. And now Frederick set up with yet another beautiful field position.
That's Justin Vasquez trying to make the grab there, but like you said, great crash down play by Salmeron to get in there and make a play on that ball quickly. Now it sets up Frederick in the first time here that they've ever really led a football game. So big opportunity here from Frederick on the 1st and 10. Kissinger takes the snap, pitches to Del Pitts. Del Pitts trying to find the hole. Gets launching through, finds that hole. Del Pitts still on his feet. Stiff arm down the sideline, going. Cuts back inside. Del Pitts getting to the 37-yard line of Skyline. Huge first down there from Frederick.
Del Pitts, we saw the versatility on that play perfectly. That was a nasty cutback too, might I add. I mean, you saw a few players, faces in the turf at that point. I mean, that was nasty. And it wasn't even like it was a complicated play. I mean, it was one of those where that was easy to read. If you're Skyline's defense, that is an easy play to sniff out. We saw Skyline a few times sniff that out prior to this drive on Frederick's last dominating drive, their opening drive. But beautiful execution.
Play action pass. Kissinger rolling. He's looking down the field, looking for Connor Betancourt, bobbles the catch, and throws him down. Gets to the 20-yard line and another first down, but there is a flag on the play. It's going to look like an ineligible man, possibly downfield for Frederick.
Interesting.
As we'll see what the call is. It's in the secondary, so looks to be, an ineligible man downfield. Not sure who it was on there on the O-line, I'm guessing, but great play design there on the rollout play action pass. We'd like to see a lot of that. Let PK use his legs. He is so versatile.
Exactly.
He can do what he can do. So that.
And he looked so calm and collected. That's something that I think we see a lot from him just in general. I feel like pressure doesn't necessarily phase him as much as some other quarterbacks that I've seen. You know, sometimes you have these jittery quarterbacks who they can't settle down as soon as, they get sacked or something. PK is just very calm and collected, even whenever rolling out, even when staying in the pocket. He's great at that.
First and 15 now for this offense. PK is going to throw again. Play action pass. Pressure coming from the right side. He's going to unload it down the field. Looking for Betancourt again. Just too far ahead. So it'll set up a 2nd and long for Frederick's offense.
Betancourt kicked it up to second notch, though. Second gear. It was almost there. It was pretty much right off the fingertips. Just a few yards ahead of him. But I like seeing that from PK. The aggressiveness that I think we've been missing these past few games. PK is starting to settled down a little bit. That almost reminded me of like an Arch Manning play a little bit. Watching him. Don't roll your eyes.
It's Texas fans.
But like he has that potential, and I'm enjoying seeing his poise in the pocket, and that's something that I think is really contributing to these drives being woven together so beautifully.
Yeah, and the confidence from Lloyd to let PK throw the ball here. It's going to be a pitch on the motion. Is going to be Sonny Del Pitts trying to get it outside. Cuts it back inside, trying to do a lot. Sonny Del Pitts finds a lane. Going outside. Going to get wrapped up. Gain of about, I want to say, 13
It
on the
looked
play.
about 13.
It's going to be a 3rd down and 2 for Frederick's offense. Beautiful play.
All I know is we're close to moving those sticks, and that's exactly what we need right now on this drive. Del Pitts, he bounces around. I don't know how to describe it. He just makes it look easy.
He looks like he's playing Madden right now.
He
doing
really does.
all these movements in the backfield and then ultimately finding that open lane just to make something happen.
And that cut-up field was gorgeous, might I just add. I mean, he makes it look easy.
Kissinger is going to keep it himself. Finding the hole. Preston Kissinger is going to fall forward. He's going to get the 1st down. He gets a couple extra to tack on. 1st down. Chains will move for Frederick's offense.
Yeah, PK, full faith in that O-lineman right there. Just kind of riding on the back of him, making sure that he gets that 1st down and he secures it before they're saying 4th down.
Oh, it is 1st. The chain
There
gang
we
with
go.
a little struggle there.
Yeah, I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, did we miss something? that looked like a 1st down to me.
PK in the shotgun once again. Watch that bunch on the left side for Frederick's offense. They've got 2 tight ends in the running back. He's going to roll to his right. He's got Del Pitts in open space. Makes the grab. Stiff arming down. Del Pitts has got the 1st and more. He's at the 5-yard line. Gets tackled down at the 4. 1st down, Frederick.
He shoved Giovanni Santa Cruz down to the ground. I mean, literally eat the turf. Get off of me.
Derrick Henry type stiff arm there
yes,
from Sonny Del Pitts.
exactly. And I mean, really, Madden is the best way to describe this. Like, it's a little sad, you know, whenever you think about how easy he's making it look. But it's like watching Child's play a little bit.
As that'll conclude the 1st quarter of this game. As when we come back, start of the 2nd quarter here on the Golden Eagle Broadcast Network.
You've likely heard in the news that interest rates are way too high, homes are just not selling, and the real estate market is about to crash at any moment. Hi, I'm Kendra Badgekar, your local real estate expert, and I've been serving Carvin Valley and Northern Colorado for over 7 years, and I've got some good news. The truth is, there are several creative finance options to get your interest rate down to a much lower rate if you're thinking about buying a home. And yes, homes are taking a little bit longer to sell, but with the right marketing strategy, they are still selling for a great value, so your equity is safe. If you're thinking about making a move this year, let's grab a cup of coffee and talk about the best way to get you there.
As we are back here on the Golden Eagle Broadcast Network, I'm Ian McKendry. Alongside me is Carly Evans. As Frederick has a 1st and goal from the 3-yard line. Expect a little Del Pitts magic here in the end zone, possibly, for Frederick.
I mean, I'm fully anticipating it. Either that or maybe a
PK.
quick dump off to, you know, I was going to say, or PK. I was thinking either, you know, a little pop over to DeGesualdo because he's alone in that corner. If you can get him, if you can beat that receiver, I don't know.
It's going to be a PK. He's in the gun by himself. He's going to give it to Salmeron. Salmeron finding the hole, bouncing in. Touchdown, Frederick.
2nd touchdown of this night. And, you know, we talked before that ad break about how just the elusiveness of these players and just the overall craft that they're putting into these plays. Me and Dante like to use the term cutesy. And that was all Dante, by the way. I do not take credit for that. Dante might copyright that. Just like let us talk about it. But at the same time, that drive, it felt cutesy in the way that it was easy.
Yes.
And it looked like they didn't even break a sweat, to be honest. And watching Del Pitts, you bounce around a little bit, and it wasn't even anything insane. It's one of those where Skyline, now I feel like Frederick has set the pace for you. That's exactly what we wanted Frederick to do and come out early and strike with. Skyline, they have set the pace directly for you, and so it's one of those where how are you going to answer now? You're trailing now by 2 scores. How are you going to answer? And I think that's probably what they're talking about right now is one of those where, like, this is kind of crucial whenever you think about it. Obviously, you have plenty of time in this game, but at Frederick's pacing, we're looking at maybe 3 or 4 more touchdowns at this rate.
Before the half even ends.
Exactly, and so, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 total, but, like, it's one of those where it is just impressive to watch Frederick. This is the most poise and elegance I think I've seen from them this season. And I look forward to see how this kind of plays into, I guess, feeds into the defense specifically, and just to see their confidence rise.
Cahoon's extra point went up and good. So Frederick up 14-0. So we will have to see what Morales and that Skyline offense come out with. It's a great kick there again by Cahoon. Back to return Knapp. He's looking for a lane. Trying to bounce it outside, but Frederick is all over that. Wrapped up around the 17-yard line. So Frederick setting up Skyline in a far drive to go here.
Yes, for sure. This is, first and a few yards to go before that goal line. And it's one of those where beautiful job from Frederick's defense to close any opportunities that he might have possibly had on the kick return. And that's tricky to do specifically on those kick returns. Thank goodness we don't have the NFL rule where they all stand still. But they read it like, specifically out of a handbook, like just pinch close, make sure there's no gaps, and take them down.
Morales is going to be in the shotgun here. Got two tight ends to his right in the bunch formation. He's going to play action throw. He's looking for the deep ball. That ball is caught. Trip it up on his own feet. And he's still going, wrapped up and thrown down with a huge gain to Frederick's 29. That is Jackson Stanish on the grab.
Jackson Stanish. Oh my goodness. We talked about momentum and, the whole idea of how is Skyline going to respond. And now I feel like I probably should have knocked on wood. I feel like I always jinx it at this rate. But, oh my goodness, caught it literally with the fingertips of his gloves.
That ball was low.
Yes, I was a little worried there, on behalf of it. It could have possibly been, a fumble at that rate because of the way that he was carrying it in the beginning. He didn't have full possession necessarily, kind of tried to tuck it in the arm, but it looked like he wasn't necessarily too secure with it. So Skyline got to be careful with ball control.
Morales calls a man in motion. Takes a snap, gives to Malt. Malt finds a hole. Frederick wraps him up, gain of about 2. Riley LaRusso was on the coverage there for Frederick on the far side. It looks like he wasn't expecting that route and kind of tripped himself up. Luckily, Stanish tripped on his own feet, and he was able to get there. Without that, that might have been a touchdown ball for Skyline there on a huge conversion. Gain of 3 will set up a second and 8.
I was about to say, once he lost his footing, it was one of those where it's very hard to push, put the pedal to the metal and keep that momentum going, because it's one of those where now you're concentrating on not tripping. And so your focus is kind of off of your own momentum. And this drive so far from Skyline has been dangerous.
Quick throw. Eddie Riley gets in there. That's Stanish again. So Morales trying to find the ball throughout the air now. Finds Stanish again. So they're trying to move the ball quickly. He gets another gain of 3. So it'll set up a 3rd down and 5.
And this has kind of been Skyline's MO, to be honest. I mean, this is how their drives have stalled out, is on these 3rd and kind of shy that first down marker, give or take.
3rd and medium.
Yeah, exactly. 3rd and kind of mediocre, I guess one could say. But it's one of those where this is their tendency right here, and we shall see.
Rolls to his right, has a wide open receiver. That's a 1st down and more. Breaking a tackle towards the pylon. It's going to be down, I think, at the 1-yard line, just about a yard shy of the end zone. What's the official call?
Is the official?
They're going to say he was marked down at the 1-yard line. The catch made that time by Ben Kearns with a wide open swing route. Nobody in the vicinity.
Literally nobody over there. I mean, that was like the definition of blown coverage kind of a thing. And it wasn't even like he was too far downfield to where you could have caught up to him. I mean, you literally had a guy in his area in that zone. It was just one of those, a matter of keeping somebody on him.
Morales keeps it himself, trying to go through the hole, but Frederick's going to hold him there. Gets a gain of 3, sets him up at the 1. So this is another short sneak for Skyline trying to get in. They'll say he only got 1 on the carry, so it'll be actually.
I believe now that's 2nd and 3 yards to go.
They say he's on the 2, so it's going to be 2nd and 2 at the goal line here. He's going to be in the backfield, 1 running back. That's a Malt to his left.
Frederick is good at these, these stops, though, these crucial stops.
Give to Kearns on the edge, going to dive on in. And they say touchdown for the Skyline Falcons. It's going to be Kearns on the run that time.
Kearns, I think honestly he was the crucial player in that drive. I mean, obviously we saw Stanish too. I think, combining the two of them, those were two weapons that honestly we didn't even talk about because they weren't very prominent in some of the other games. But seeing now the potential that some of them carry, especially whenever given open field and space to move around, that is deadly as they're going to go for the 2-point conversion, and it is way over his head. Looks like he was aiming for Logan Malt. Malt once again trying to make something happen there, but Malt, it was way overthrown.
As like you said, high ball there that time, so just a bit short, so it'll be a 6-14 game as Frederick trying to rally that. Great response there by Skyline coming into the second quarter there. That was their first drive of the second quarter and made a great drive. Get down the field, get that ball in the end zone. Like you said, led by Kearns and Stanish. So great drive there from Skyline's offense. So we'll see what Frederick's offense can do to retaliate as we'll see the kickoff return unit for the first time tonight.
Honestly, I don't know why Skyline went for the 2-point conversion. I mean, I don't know quite what they were going for. I understand, trying to shorten the lead between the two of you, but it's one of those where it's not crucial right now. This is something where you have time, and maybe then again, they don't have reliability of the kicker, yeah. Yeah,
I would say I don't think they have a kicker to rely on, like you said there. And if they
hey, we throw in Gavin sometimes. we threw in Gavin for some of those kicks, and
yeah.
I think we threw in a few different players, honestly.
I mean,
we just we let them kind of do whatever they wanted to.
Last year we saw Cahoon and Norwood kind of split the reps there.
Yes, they split it too.
So now we'll see the kick return from Frederick. A great response here. We could see a hope for maybe a kick return here, but we'll see what Frederick can do. Just get them in a good field position as they have started in great field position. They haven't started behind their own 40 yet. So we'll see what Frederick's offense can do here.
Which I know Del Pitts is never happy whenever this ball somehow travels farther than what he'd expect into that end zone.
Short kick is going to be caught. Returning there is going to get wrapped up just about shy of the 40-yard line, about the 37. Jamison Zhang on the return that time. That ball came right to him a little. We talked about the unreliable kickers, so that might be the situation for Skyline with the kicking
I was going to say, that was a weird little squib kick, yeah.
In the air, though. So we'll see Frederick's offense coming on the field as they have been pretty dominant so far. 2 drives, 2 touchdowns. We'll see Kissinger leading that offense out again, and probably a lot more of Del Pitts playing the Madden sticks back there.
100%.
As they line up one receiver to the right, they're going to go in that I formation again, which I like that formation because you got big old Eric Ross right in front of Del Pitts, and that makes him hard to see back there.
100%.
And Del Pitts is elusive. Kissinger is going to play action pass, looking deep down the center of the field, looking for Norwood once again. That ball a little too far ahead. DJ Swaldo running that corner hitch. It was kind of like a post corner route, trying to get open on the wide side as he tried to get rid of that ball quickly as the O-line was kind of collapsing there.
Yeah, 100%. And it's one of those where, yeah, Norwood's tall, but he's not that tall. And so I think specifically with PK right now, he might be feeling a little bit of the pressure. I know we talked about that poison elegance, in that first quarter, but there is one of those where now, you do have to kind of make a little bit of a response. You don't want Skyline to suddenly gain all this momentum and traction in this game, especially so early on. And so it's one of those where PK, settle down in the pocket, make sure you have time.
Give to Pitts down the side, tripped up on his own feet as he had green grass ahead of him.
Would have been a huge explosive play for Frederick, but as you said, looked like he got, nicked at the shoelaces possibly, and it's one of those where had potential, nothing but green grass in front of him. Del Pitts probably a little frustrated, might want to give him the ball back again.
Yeah, it's going to be 3rd down and 9, it seems, for Frederick now.
And I know we talked, to DJ Swaldo. I want to see them, just throw it up. He is amazing at some of those contested catches. And so it's one of those where I want to see them throw it up, get a little spicy with it, I guess one could say.
Bunch formation now for Frederick. Kissinger is going to keep it himself, going around the wing side. Kissinger trying to cut it up the field. He's going to get 8 on the carry, so it sets up a 4th down and short. So if you're Frederick, what are you going to do here? As it sets up an actual 4th down and 3.
Honestly, if I'm Frederick, I say stay out there, honestly. I say stay and don't waste this drive. Because I feel like specifically, you know, with the time on the clock sitting at about 8 minutes, you don't want your momentum in this first half to stall out. PK needs to be able to complete on this drive. We saw the Falcons already kind of take that aggressive approach too. Maybe see if we, and he just jumps. Yeah, he just jumped on the line. There.
Kissinger's going to keep it himself. Finds the hole. Kissinger exploding through. First down, Frederick, has some contact there from Kissinger as he went down, but a first down.
As he was like nailed to the floor right there once he, you know, ran into that defender. Hard to see who that was number-wise from here, but, you know, PK able to move the sticks.
As, yeah, there was no encroachment flag thrown on that down, so.
And I know that they were shifting, but that's the entire point of why they were shifting. Part of it is to get them to jump. And so interesting no call from the refs. Obviously, maybe, I don't know.
There is some lenience in there.
Yes.
Not sure what the timing is, but.
There was a pretty big encroachment play, though.
Kissinger tossed Del Pitts in the backfield, who got hit, but he's still going to go. Del Pitts down the close sideline, running it up, down. And there's a flag thrown at the 38-yard line.
Del Pitts, it was hard to tell. That honestly might have been a face mask on, I'm trying to see who that was. I think it was number 16, I want to say, who might have possibly gotten popped in the face to Shea Harrison. It was hard to tell, though.
It's either going to be a face mask or a holding penalty by Frederick. They're not really sure what happened. They're going to say a illegal block in the back.
That's interesting.
Frederick,
okay.
Those are so hard to have, especially on a big play like that. Del Pitts had 11 yards and a first down for Frederick, but called back. So it's going to be a first down and what looks like a
little bit of a mile.
They gave him 2 yards. They gave him the extra gain with the penalty, bringing him back, but. So it sets up a 1st and 8, which you don't see very often.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Kissinger in the shotgun, waiting for that snap. Trying to get Skyline to do something there. Is trying to hear from the coach.
Yeah, coach calling audibles. PK
takes the snap, play action pass, looking for a wide open Del Pitts on the sticks, makes the grab, still shaking loose, and gets a gain of, I want to say 16.
Yeah, that was better than his other one. You know, kind of make up for it, I guess, tack on a few extra yards, given that the other one was eradicated from his score sheet. But it's one of those where Del Pitts, once again, dancing around, and he was wide open in the middle of that field on that crosser. And so, I don't know. I feel like Skyline, they're giving them too much space right now. They are, I don't know, it's like weird zone right now. They're not sticking to a man, and if they are, they're dropping off of them rather quickly.
They're trying to bring Kissinger on under pressure. You can see that line. Looks like there's 6 guys on that pressure. So Kissinger's trying to get that ball out quick, and it's working very well. Blitz here from Skyline, throwing it up over the middle of the field. Del Pitts is going to get the catch. They're going to say incomplete.
Yeah, it looked like it bobbled and possibly hit the ground first. Del Pitts able to try and snag it low.
Tried to sell the catch, and that's what you got to do in that situation. I thought he was going to DeGiswaldo down the sideline.
Agreed.
He wasn't even looking for that ball. So
no.
A little behind him, but Kissinger under that pressure of Skyline's blitz. So you got to be careful there.
I was going to say Roderick Hobbs, number 0 for the Falcons defense. He came screaming in from that side.
As we'll see Kissinger in the shotgun, very familiar formation on this drive, and again they're trying to get that quick count, try to see if they can get Skyline to move, and again that audible. Kissinger drops, looking to throw. Little throw over the middle. Del Pitts down the seam. It is caught. Touchdown, Frederick. Sonny Del Pitts from Preston Kissinger.
Del Pitts, I'm loving this shallow crossing route that they're kind of taking, and it's one of those where he was just, that was beautiful from PK. That was a gorgeous throw straight to him. Obviously, Del Pitts kind of bobbled it a little bit, but he was able to secure it, and that's half the battle right there, and then he kicked it into second gear.
Yeah, Del Pitts talking about how he had no touchdowns coming into tonight's game. He's already got 2 in the first half. So Frederick's offense playing a very, very dominant against this Skyline defense. And like you said, he kind of bobbled the ball there, but Del Pitts is coming down with that 9 times out of 10. It's Cahoon's kick absolutely through the uprights. 21-6 the score here in Longmont.
And this is Del Pitts' game so far. I mean, obviously, from the culmination of how amazing the defense has been playing, able to get Skyline, 3 and outs and 4 and outs even, and, with those turnovers and stuff. That's what we talked about, especially in my keys, the cruciality of just making sure that you are able to secure those turnovers, especially earlier on in this game. And they've done an excellent job of doing so. And then I think both offensive defense have kind of thrown their own salt and pepper in on this game. And I think that's really what's made this game so beautiful to watch, I think, for Frederick and Frederick fans, is because they're just, the offense and defense are weaving together so beautifully right now. And both sides of the ball for Frederick look like they are ready for this game and that they have been prepared for this for like their entire life.
They're trying to get their get back after that shutout loss last week and already put up 3 scores on the board, so they feel very confident this week coming back from that week that way. As we'll see Cahoon's kick once again. Shorter kick this time is going to be returned by Archer. Archer trying to find the hole. I'm sorry. And that ball is going to bounce outside down the left sideline. Cahoon's going to be the man to beat, and he got thrown down. And that was Ben Kearns again. He made that return, gets Skyline at to the 45-yard line, so a huge return.
Kearns is a tall guy too. I mean, to get trucked,
forced to be
by, yes, my goodness. I mean, he literally pummeled Cahoon to the ground.
Which it's hard because Cahoon does not practice tackling very
often.
No,
so exactly. Well, and you wouldn't expect him to kind of make that break down that sideline so easily, and he just got trucked.
We've seen Frederick kind of struggle with the kickoff coverage thus far this season. They gave up a kick return to Broomfield early in that game. So
and that kind of set the pace for the Broomfield game. That's kind of what I want to see is, the pacing. And I know I keep kind of drilling that into everybody's head, but the pacing in this game is so crucial. And, Frederick, they're setting the pace with these slow, methodical drives. But every once in a while, the Falcons come swinging with these huge plays that really make them dangerous if they kind of keep their composure.
Morales going to keep it himself. Finds the hole, gets 4. As someone had his foot for the majority of that, but he's still found a way to get 4 yards. So they're trying to trick Frederick there with that trips on the right, trying to sell the throw ball, and then Morales kept it himself.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, Morales, we know he's not scared to take it himself, that's for sure.
Dual threat quarterback. He's kind of reminding me of like a Louisiana Lamar Jackson with the red. And he's not afraid to throw the ball, and he has thrown the ball pretty well so far today, but he's also run the ball
yeah, he's
pretty
slinging,
well, too.
He's slinging the rock pretty well.
In the shotgun, 2nd and 5. And there's looked like a timeout called before that ball was snapped. There's an interesting look there. They might have saw something that they didn't like, as there was a timeout there. Would you like to meet an Olympian, connect with a D1 athlete, or talk with a Twitch streamer? Rocky Students is part of Rocky.Church, and they are all about connecting students to their purpose. They believe that students are the future, and their goal is to help you be empowered, encouraged, and supported. There are many ways you can connect with Rocky Students. You can start by watching their monthly podcast on YouTube, where you'll hear from a guest on a multitude of topics, show up on Wednesday nights to hang out with friends and meet some incredible guest speakers, even join their gaming community on Discord. Follow them on Instagram, RockyStudents_Frederick, to learn more. So Morales, the offense. Crowd getting a little loud over there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the small crowd that showed up, which obviously we appreciate it because this is kind of a hefty drive. I mean, obviously we made the drive, and it was one of those where I took two people in my car and, good 30-minute little trek.
Morales wanted to throw. There's the throw. There's a flag down on the play. That ball too far, so we'll see what this flag is. It was thrown towards the middle of the field, so I'm expecting either a pass interference or a holding call. Not sure on which side.
Yeah, it was hard to tell right there. In Morales, we talked about that pressure in the backfield, and that's exactly what he felt on that play. We talked about how good he's throwing, but it is also interesting. He tends to, I think, get a little antsy, as, most people do. But it's one of those where specifically right now, whenever he's pressured in that pocket, he's throwing it pretty, he's going for some of those contested deep balls. But looks like it'll be on Skyline, so this will backtrack them pretty far. This will be a 2nd and a mile for them. Looks like 2nd and 20 yards. 2nd and 20. Whew. So this is a hefty little 2nd down for the Falcons to try to make something happen out of this. I mean, literally, it is their own fault, though, at the same time.
Yeah, it looked like a holding or maybe a face mask there. Not really sure what was the call, but
I mean, at this point, if you're the Falcons, I don't care how upset you are right now. This is something that, you kicked yourself in the foot with this one.
As it sets up a 2nd and long, so expect maybe the pass here if you're Frederick. Drop back screen, bubble screen, wrapped up almost immediately. Gets about 2 with the forward progress. Great job by Frederick to read that screen perfectly and drop down. I believe that was Del Pitts on the far side to drop in there and make that tackle.
I believe that was Riley LaRusso. Looks like that was Riley LaRusso for our defense. I honestly haven't heard that name that much.
Yeah, he's on the short side of the field, so he's more of a hitter. So, yeah, I haven't heard that name very much. Deidris Waldo also over there, too, I think got in there and got the tackle. But great job by Frederick to bounce on that bubble screen really quickly, as they practice that a lot. Morales drops, looking to throw. Frederick's bringing the pressure. Under pressure, flag is going to be thrown in the backfield. It's going to be a holding call. Throw is picked off! Jovan Martinez finally gets one, as Frederick should decline this penalty, as this is going to be a pick. As we saw, Jovan Martinez dropped 2 interceptions in that Broomfield game. I think he had 1 against Meade as well.
Martinez, this is his get-back play. I was going to say, decline that penalty, get your offense out there right now. This is perfect for PK to kind of set up another drive before this halfway point in this game, sitting at about, looks like a little under 5 minutes left in this first half. And right now, that is a crucial, momentous play for Frederick's defense. We've seen them kind of be able to pressure Morales specifically, but I mean, obviously you saw that hold. It was clear as broad daylight. And then obviously smart to decline that penalty. And now Frederick
gets that ball.
Beautiful field position right now, once again, sitting at about the 47-yard line on their own side, but encroaching in Falcons territory.
Del Pitts gets the pitch again. He is just running around that backfield. Del Pitts has a hole on that far side. Good tackle there that time.
That backfield specifically, whenever he's sweeping on the outside, he's able to bounce around so easily that if he decides to make a cut upfield, it's not going to be this, it's not going to be this slow thing. It's going to be this, fast moving action where he's just able to cut it up extremely quickly. And Del Pitts, as we said,
Goes the little bubble screen. That's Hoagie on the reception. Hoagie with a full head of steam gets the first down and more. Bring the shoulder around the 40-yard line, gets the first down and more.
That play almost reminded me of, whenever you watch like those the Matadors, whenever they have like the red thing, the red cloth, whenever they're kind of like egging the bull on. That's kind of what it reminded me of. On the fact that he swept around to the outside, and then he almost looked like he grabbed the defensive player's jersey and was like, pushing off the back of him. But Hoagie able to convert, and now we're looking at a first down and in excellent
field position
territory. Yeah, I was about to say.
Kissinger in the shotgun. Gets the snap. He's going to throw. 3-step drop, looking over the top, looking for Eric Ross again, and that one's just too much on it. That's been the story from PK right now, throwing that ball.
I feel like that's both quarterbacks. We've seen a little bit of that from Morales, but we've also seen a lot of that antsiness from PK in that pocket, and it's not even necessarily like, they're putting pressure on him. I think it's just, he tends to get that ball out pretty quickly. No matter if there's a significant amount of pressure on him, whether it's a blitz or something, his O-line is doing a really good job of kind of fending it off. I think they're doing better than they did the past 2 games, because I think the past 2 games, there was so much pressure on PK to the point where, he did not have time. But I think he's used to that right now, but I think that's kind of biting him in the butt.
Kissinger on the throw, finds Ross that time. Big body Ross breaks a tackle and more. Gets on down, gain of 9, so it sends up a 3rd down and short. Breaks a tackle and turns the corner.
It's like that whole, I'm rubber, you're glue. Okay. Oh, we're back. We're back.
We are back. Audio keeps cutting out. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen.
So
Technical
sorry.
difficulties. Has in the shotgun, 3rd and shallow for Frederick, because PK is going to keep it himself. Finds the hole. Kissinger breaking through. And a 1st down for Frederick. Looks like he got 6 yards there. So a huge 1st down. Someone is grilling something.
Yeah, Carly smells food, and Carly's a little hungry, so Carly's nose turned up at that.
Smells pretty good.
Yeah, it smells amazing. It smells like grilling. I bet you it's a concession stand, actually. I don't know why we're overthinking this. But, yeah, 1st down now, moving those chains.
Once again.
Man, this is just impressive. It's methodical. It's slow. It's exactly what Frederick's needed.
They can't stop.
Yeah, can't stop, won't stop.
PK looking to throw. Drops, finds Del Pitts out of the backfield. Oh, big hit. Breaks that tackle, though. Down the sideline, Del Pitts hurdles a man. As you technically cannot do that in high school football, but he didn't fully clear as Del Pitts tried to go up and over.
Del Pitts tried to go up and over.
1st down.
Number 15, Jax Collins. I mean, Collins went low for kind of, a dive, but and clearly some frustration. I don't know how much of this you can see from the sideline, but it looks like that is number 8, Jordan Coronado. He is clearly very frustrated
yep.
as he threw his helmet down. And
Frederick's got to go here. 1:25 to go in the half, trying to put the exclamation point before the second half starts. Kissinger, toss. There's Del Pitts again, running rampant wild. Touchdown, Frederick again.
The floodgates are open now for Sonny Del Pitts. Literally, there's no other way to describe it except he has opened up the chamber. This is his game. And he is owning this field, dancing around players, making it look like he is in a simulation.
He set his own
on easy mode.
He set his own stats to 99 overall, put it on rookie mode, and just let himself play. 3 touchdowns from Del Pitts.
My goodness. I mean, Del Pitts, we know the significance of him, but specifically for this game, he was frustrated after that Maverick loss. He was extremely upset.
Yeah.
I talked with some of the other players. I talked with some of the football associated people, and it was one of those where the thing that was most prominent whenever I was having a conversation with them was Sonny is going to show up. And just watching him, he is ready.
And Dante said last week was his best game that he's
one
ever seen. This might just be up there, and this is incredible. 2 rushing touchdowns, 1 passing touchdown.
And to be quite honest, to be quite frank, the Falcons can't keep up with his pacing. They can't keep up with his speed. Once he the comparison that I continue to use is that whole second gear mentality where, first gear, he's kind of trying to find that groove. He's trying to find that in whenever he's sweeping around, the backfield. But it's one of those where once he finds that opening, once he finds that hole, once he finds that gap, it is like watching children trail behind or whenever you see those ducks, whenever you see ducks in the park, they're always trailing behind the lead duck or the dad duck or whatever. That's kind of what it feels like right now, is just watching the Falcons slowly totter behind Del Pitts as he is just gone.
As that kick goes out of bounds, Cahoon tried to kick a little squib kick, but Skyline smartly does not touch that ball, so that ball will be spotted. at the 35-yard line, so free field position from Skyline. But like you said, Del Pitt's playing a fantastic game, not just through the air, but also running the ball. Just trying to set up an immaculate drive again, and defensively as well. He's had a great game, so we'll see what Frederick's defense can do. 1:14, Skyline. If they want to score, they're going to try to take this ball down the field very quickly, but they might also just try to run the clock out here and head on to the second half. Morales in the shotgun, looking to throw. Frederick brings some pressure. Blitz is on. Throw wide open again. It's a first down and more. Tackled down to the 49-yard line once again. That is Ben Kearns, as he has been the story.
Kearns a significant name throughout this night. We've heard him consistently as they're going to run hurry up.
They're going to
try to figure out what they want to do.
They don't want Frederick to get their footing back. So empty set for Morales. Takes the snap, looking. Pressure already in the backfield. Stenich gets the grab, goes down. Loss of 2 on the play.
That's the only downside of running a hurry up is typically, no matter how many things you audible, no matter how much you try to change up your last play, you're kind of stuck to a similar formation that you had because you have very limited time to kind of move around that field and figure out what you want to do. They continue to run this hurry up, though, and I'm curious to see what they can make of this as this is second and longer.
25 seconds to go. Clock is ticking. Looking over the middle. Cut. Big grab. Moving still on his feet down to about the 34-yard line.
Looks like that was number 5.
Miley Davis.
Miley
and
Davis.
16 seconds. They only have 1 timeout to give, so they're not trying to use it yet, but they might want to here in a second. 11 seconds to go. Running out of time here on that clock.
That is the slowest hurry up I've ever seen.
They are just going to go for it. Pressure coming. Hoagie around the edge, and he's going to go down. Morales. And the ball might have came out. Frederick saying they have it. It's going to stay Skyline's ball. That clock is going to go, and that'll be the final play of the first half. Frederick with a dominant sack there. And a first half to forget if you are Skyline, but Frederick, domination right now.
100%. I mean, that last breath of the Falcons offense that we saw, maybe there was a little glimmer of hope there for them, but it was one of those where it was swallowed up at the line. You said that was Hoagie on the takedown, as here in a minute we're going to go down to the sideline with Dante Lechuga.
With Coach Lloyd, and hear what Coach Lloyd's got to say. He's got to be fired up right now.
Oh, I bet. This is probably the game he was waiting for.
Leading by 22 right now. As we are just awaiting that now. Has a great first half from Sunnydale Pitts himself. 3 touchdowns, just doing what he does best.
I mean, he's lighting up the scoreboard all by himself. Like, this is a record game for him at the pacing that he's going at.
As the Skyline cheerleaders are going to come onto the field, as we are going to throw it down to the sideline. Dante.
Thanks, Ian. I'm down here on the sideline with Coach Lloyd. Coach, we saw a lot more of the playbook being opened up with Preston throwing the ball a lot more in that first half.
We got to come this way. Got to get out of the way. Yeah, we did. The offense did a good job. I thought the plays were good. Offense was efficient. Got to make some more stops on defense.
And what we got to do in the second half to make sure we walk away with our first win of the year?
Just keep doing what we're doing on offense and some more plays on D.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, thanks.
Back to you, Ian.
When we come back, the halftime show here on the Golden Eagle Broadcast Network.
Hey, Kyle Michael here with Michael Real Estate and Remax Momentum, and I'm here at my office in downtown Frederick, Colorado. As a Colorado native and a resident to Frederick over the last 8 years, we truly understand the entire Carbon Valley and Colorado market. With offices in Frederick, Brighton, and Westminster, I cover the entire Front Range area. I've served over 130 families from Alt to Monument to Deer Trail to Grand Lake. As a small business owner myself, I understand how much time and effort it takes to be successful, which is why I continue to support local businesses, schools, and nonprofits through our Sip and Support series, coat drives, and other events. I value hardworking individuals. It is my mission to continue giving back as much as I can. We would love to serve you or your family. Give us a call, 303-944-4191, and go Golden Eagles.
Rocky students exist to build up the next generation, to live a life of purpose, influence, and faith. You see, we believe that when you discover purpose, you start to discover you have a reason to live. And when you discover you have a reason to live, you start to notice you have influence. And when you lean into that influence, you make an impact. This world needs people like you, the next generation, to discover your purpose and to decide today the leader you want to be tomorrow.
Hi, I'm Coach Matt Lloyd. I'm the head football coach at Frederick High School. You're watching the Golden Eagle Broadcasting Network. Golden Eagles, let them fly.
But right now, I feel like he is just roaring to life at any opportunity he possibly can have. Every time he has possession of that ball, it's like, as you said, it's like watching him run rampant.
Yeah, he is dominating, and especially through the air, too. Frederick is looking good as well. We haven't seen PK really throw the ball too much this year, but so far tonight, he's thrown the ball well. He's found Betancourt over the middle. That got called back, obviously, but besides that, you know, the big throw to Del Pitts for the touchdown, finding Norwood early in the first quarter, he's really finding ways to get that ball to people around the field, open people as well, and doing a great job. Frederick is running their routes really well, picking apart that Skyline zone defense, and they are really trying to put the pressure on PK by sending the blitz, but Frederick's doing a good job picking it up. Salmeron is doing a great job in the backfield, being that single man back there to pick up that sixth man coming off the edge. Without Salazar, they haven't really focused on running the ball with Salmeron a lot. He does have that touchdown started the second quarter, but besides that, it's been heavy Del Pitts offense, heavy through the air, trying to find somebody open quickly. And PK's kept it himself a few times as well.
And honestly, you know, I think most people might look at it and say, well, this is a change. You know, this is a switch from what you've been doing. And it's one of those where, like, yes, it is a switch, but they've gone so fluidly into it that it almost makes it look like they've been doing this their entire lives. Like, this is something that they've had as the game plan for, like, the past, like, year and a half. They are making this look so methodical, and I love to see it. And, you know, I think one of the biggest things I think going into the second half is just we need to see Frederick continue to kind of dominate behind the line kind of a thing, and I think we've seen that for both sides of the ball too. Defensively, they've put amazing pressure on Morales in that backfield. He really hasn't been able to roll out. He's just kind of been relying on Malt and some of his other tall receivers like Ben Kearns. And Kearns even, we saw Kearns
He's playing well. He's playing well.
Kearns played well. I mean, that obviously the interception from Martinez, that was a Kearns route. That was Kearns who was over there, and it was one of those where Jovan Martinez jumped right in front of it, and Kearns, it doesn't matter how tall you are, there was no contest to be had. It was straight in the hands of Martinez.
It was an 8 or 9 yard comeback route by Kearns down the sideline, trying to get those, kind of a toe tap looking play, get out of bounds, stop the clock. But Martinez really, like you said, jumped the route almost perfectly. I mean, if it was perfect, he might have jumped and took it back for 6, but great play by Martinez to get through, get his get back. He had a dropped pick literally the first play of the game. So getting that get back of dropping those interceptions and making a few plays happen like that. Yeah, but we talked about Kearns early. He's played very, very well. I mean, the kick return as well. He has been really the leader for Skyline right now. So you really want to bend on him, use him as a backbone of this offense, just dominate with him. And then obviously Morales, if you can get people more focused on Kearns, then Morales can start doing his thing, doing his little razzle-dazzle act, get some open lane plays and make some plays happen. But if you're Skyline's defense, you're trying to focus on Del Pitts, but Frederick has so many weapons on this offense that it's going to be hard to just focus on one guy. So I'm excited to see what they do in the second half. Might not be a heavy Del Pitts. They might be trying to find people other than Del Pitts to get that ball to. So watch out for Dietrich Waldo. Watch out for Eric Ross, Betancourt, all those kind of guys making plays in the second half.
I think, yeah, as you said, maybe this first half, for Coach Lloyd and PK's offense, I feel like they had that sense of domination. They were completely leaning on Del Pitts, and if Kearns is the backbone for the Falcons, I think Frederick has every right to say that Del Pitts has been the entire spinal cord, to be quite frank, for this team. And so it's one of those where I'd love to see them kind of sling the rock to new options. And the term that Dante likes to use that I used earlier is the term cutesy. And it sounds funny given the situation that they're playing football, cutesy, that doesn't sound right. But just to kind of loosen up, but not to the point where you're making costly mistakes. Because I think there's something to be said for making sure that you are still prepared. You're not being sloppy. You still look great out there as an offense, and you still look like that well-oiled machine and that engine that we saw in that first half. But I would love to see them kind of throw in a little extra spice. I don't know, because I feel like it was just a lot of bland, chunk it down or give it to Del Pitts. I want to see them sling this rock.
Air it out.
Yeah, exactly. And you have so many options, as you put it.
Get explosive.
Yes, exactly. And, you're not limited to just Del Pitts. Obviously, I think Del Pitts is very deserving of what, all he's had this game. And I think it's really kind of a show of his character and his discipline so far in this game that they've put so much faith in him, and he's just been so reliable. But have a little fun with it. You know what I mean? You are up by 3 scores, correct? 2 scores?
22. You're up by 22, so 3 scores.
Yeah, I was going to say 3 scores, that extra point. So it's one of those where if you're up by 22, throw in a little bit of that extra Frederick that I think we just haven't seen this game.
Exactly. Get explosive, get going. Just a reminder that our broadcast is brought to you in part by United Power. At United Power, we are proud partners of the Golden Eagle Broadcast Network and proud to power local sports and local schools. United Power is your local Touchstone Energy Cooperative. When we come back, Frederick receives the second half kickoff, and we will see the dominance from Frederick's offense back on the field when we come back.
Hey, Kyle Michael here with Michael Real Estate and RE/MAX Momentum, and I'm here at my office in downtown Frederick, Colorado. As a Colorado native and a resident to Frederick over the last 8 years, we truly understand the entire Carbon Valley and Colorado market. With offices in Frederick, Brighton, and Westminster, I covered the entire Front Range area. I've served over 130 families from Alt to Monument to Deer Trail to Grand Lake. As a small business owner myself, I understand how much time and effort it takes to be successful, which is why I continue to support local businesses, schools, and nonprofits through our Sip and Support series, coat drives, and other events. I value hardworking individuals. It is my mission to continue giving back as much as I can. We would love to serve you or your family. Give us a call, 303-944-4191, and go Golden Eagles.
Are you tired of paying rent or constantly moving from one place to another? LGI Homes has the solution for you. We offer affordable new homes with exceptional quality. With our simplified buying process and zero down options available, easily achieve the dream of homeownership and quickly move into your new home. At LGI Homes, we have it all, offering new homes complete with upgrades, designed to add style, value, and energy efficiency to your life. Find your new home today with LGI Homes.
Rocky students exist to build up the next generation, to live a life of purpose, influence, and faith. You see, we believe that when you discover purpose, you start to discover you have a reason to live. And when you discover you have a reason to live, you start to notice you have influence. And when you lean into that influence, you make an impact. This world needs people like you, the next generation, to discover your purpose and to decide today the leader you want to be tomorrow.
Welcome back to the Golden Eagle Broadcast Network. Start of the second half here. I'm Amy McKendry. Alongside me is Carly Evans as it is the start of the second half. Up by 22. Frederick is already on the field, already stretching out. Skyline still coming out of the locker room, trying to finish those halftime talks.
I was going to say, Skyline, probably a significantly longer conversation with coaches than what Frederick had to do, obviously. I'm sure Coach Lloyd probably gave him a good little motivational speech, as he does so well, but
Lloyd's telling the team, you know, just keep going, keep getting that score up, and then you guys can take the well-deserved rest that you guys deserved. We'll see some of the backups possibly come into the game, but still a lot of football left to play, so there is opportunities for Skyline to still try and get their score back up. So we will see how the second half will play out.
100%.
We talked about this in pregame. Me and Marsing, we were talking about this in pregame, and how Skyline was already out here when we got here. We got here at 5:15, so we were here very early. Skyline was already on the field warming up. So this team is probably feeling a little fatigued right now. They've been practicing for almost 2 hours before the game started.
Well, and honestly, you know, given the time that we got there, it looked like they'd been practicing already for at least maybe a half hour.
So
they looked comfortable out there, but you continue.
Yeah, they are a tired team, and Frederick, you know, they took their time to start warming up in the playbook. They took their time stretching, you know, making sure everyone's not going to start cramping up, make sure everyone's going to be feeling good. You don't want to see any injuries happen tonight, especially in a game where you're up by 22 now. You just want to kind of keep it simple, go back to the basics. Like we talked about, explosive plays as well, maybe throwing a few of those here and there. But I expect Frederick to be on a dominant second half start. As I can see across the field, we see PK warming up with Sangapulatelli. There's been a little bit of talks between the two of them. You know, there's been a little bit of conversations that have been had, a few missed snaps from Sangapulatelli.
A few disconnects.
The disconnects on the snaps. The junior to the senior, you know, there's going to be a few mistakes. Micah, he's still young. He's a young center. He's never played center before either up into this year.
He's doing
a
very
great job.
solid,
Great job,
yes.
especially tonight. The snaps have been in the PK's chest. There was maybe a few little high snaps, but besides that, they have been very consistent, very good. And to see those two kind of warming up right now, it's a good connection. You want to have a great connection with your center. I always think about Jason Kelsey and Jalen Hurts. That's a great center to quarterback connection. They were a great combination on the offense.
Yeah, and even watching right now, it's very fascinating to see almost the decorum between the two teams. Because, like, it's one of those where even watching the Falcons warm up, you know, for the second half, it's one of those where they look tired, you know, as we talked about. They look exhausted down there, and obviously there is tons of football left to be had. Frederick, very peppy in all their warm-ups and all their stretches that they're doing right now.
As we await the second half kickoff as the final 3 seconds to go. So, Skyline's defense going to come out here. Sunnydale Pitts is going to have a target on his back now. He is going to be the guy to watch
I'm
every
sure,
time
I'm
he's
sure
in
that's what the conversation was during halftime.
Every time that man is in motion, I'm expecting to see 2 or 3 guys moving, screaming, he's coming, he's coming. So, Frederick's got to just stay composed. You know, they're going to be eyeing Del Pitts.
But then that opens the lane for other players. Yep, exactly. So,
watch out for DJ Waldo.
That's what I've got my eye on
right now. Yep. We saw a lot of him in pregame. You know, we got a nice little follow him for most of that pregame to watch him kind of warm up. DJ Waldo really wants that ball in his hands. He really wants to feel like he is a big part of this team. So
and he already is. Specifically, we've seen the
blocking.
blocking. Yes. Oh my goodness, his blocking has been
immaculate.
Beautiful tonight. And, you know, prior games, too. It's one of those where it's not just tonight where he's made his name well known. He's done it, you know, continuously.
As Skyline will kick this one away, expecting maybe another short kick here, as it is another squib kick. Jameson Zhang on the return, trying to find a hole. Launching his way through, finds a little hole, gets down to the 46-yard line. So Frederick, again, starting with great field position. As we see Preston Kissinger in that offense hobbling back onto the field.
I got a little deja vu with that kick. That was the exact same,
perfect kick.
Yeah, exactly.
Right to Jameson.
Yeah.
The young junior.
Zhang with a beautiful return, too.
Yeah,
I mean.
The young junior. It's a little JV demon getting his opportunity here on the kick return off.
JV demon, I like that.
And the 47-yard line comes out Frederick's offense, and Del Pitts, the guy to watch if you are Skyline's defense.
And honestly, I don't think Frederick has started behind the 30-yard line, quite frankly, like of their own side. They have consistently stayed in between that 35 to midway field marker every time they've started their drives, and I think that might also be playing a role.
As the pitch to Del Pitts once again, gets the hook carry, finds the hole again. Del Pitts down the right sideline, breaks a tackle, and gets a huge gain of an extra 4, so 14 yards on the carry for Sonny Del Pitts.
100%, just bouncing around to that outside. Once again, Del Pitts has done it so well with that little sweeping arc motion. And looked like that was Jordan Coronado who got shoved down, but was able to kind of track down Del Pitts as he was tiptoeing along that sideline. PK now, once again, great field position as they moved the chains. There's a first down on the 40-yard line.
High formation again. They give it to Ross. Ross bowling through. That's what you want from a fullback there, to take all the contact and just keep on moving, and that's what Ross did that time. He's been such a defensive weapon, but people forget he's on the offensive side of the ball, too, in that tight end wingback kind of formation and fullback kind of formation. He got 6 on the carry there. They're going to say he only got 5, but it looks like 6. But
like 6 or 7. You know, it's hard to tell. After that brief moment of silence, we're looking at second and looks like maybe 5.
They're going to say second and 5. Kissinger under the shotgun again. He's going to give it to Sonny Del Pitts, and Del Pitts just reading the holes again. Stiff arm down, and again, piling. He's only going to get about 3 on the play, so 3rd and 2 now.
I loved the energy that I got from that play, though. I know it was only 3 yards. Looked like, just, toss over, but I mean.
He's saying, I'm here.
Exactly. Not only did he hit the defensive player with that stiff arm, but we saw that nasty little lower, the crown of the helmet, which, yes, can turn a little dangerous very quickly. You have to watch that. That's a fine line between targeting and also injuries. You have to be very cautious. And, yes, there is such a thing as offensive targeting. I think some people forget that. Like, a lot of the time it's your defense that gets those targeting calls, but if you lower the crown of the helmet.
Ross pummels his way through, and a first down again for Frederick. He's going to get another 7 yards on the tack on, plus the other 2, so about 9-yard carry there. So another first down for Frederick. Another little, they like that I formation with the either quick handoff to Ross or the pitch to Del Pitts. And Del Pitts and
But
PK,
it's working.
It's
I
working
mean, it's
very
one of
well.
those where, like, why stop doing something if it's working so efficiently? As DeGesualdo all alone.
I want to see a toss up. I want to see DeGesualdo in a 50-50 ball here.
That's what I'm saying. Those contested catches.
Outside pitch. Del Pitts follows Ross. Shakes off another tackle. Del Pitts bounces it outside. Now cuts it back inside. Still going. Gets another 8 on the play, and I thought he was down before he even got the ball.
I thought he was too. And I mean, to watch as he kind of, you know, he daggers his way through that line, and he's so hard to see. You know, I've talked about this before whenever we talk about Del Pitts, is he's shorter than some of the other typical guys that you see, but honestly, it plays to your advantage. And, you know, which might sound like a downside, you know, oh, you're a little bit shorter than other people. But at this point in the game, you know, it's like looking for, I don't know, it's like trying to find a needle in a haystack whenever you're looking for him.
Fakes the pitch. Kissinger going to step up, finds the hole, breaking a tackle. Kissinger still moving, stiff-arming, and gets down at the 10. A hard throw down that time. Your quarterback takes off and makes that play.
Was nervous there that he was going to
get
tug, but
7 on the carry. Yeah, he got thrown down there. That's dangerous. That reminds me of a little Jackson Dart versus Georgia running through Georgia's middle linebacker, which as a quarterback you got to be a little careful, especially as PK. That's your starting quarterback right there. I like the mentality to go run through someone's teeth, but got to be a little careful as you are really the only guy.
You're the
Frederick.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're the reliability man. You're the teeth
guy.
and crown of this offense.
Kissinger is going to get the snap. It's going to be a pitch, but a flag's going to be called. They're going to say a false start here, most likely, on Frederick's offense.
You saw Del Pitts get a little scrappy with his matchup, number 24, Andrew Clifford.
He gave him a little fake like he was going to throw it. He didn't know the play was over, so I like Del Pitts getting in the head a little bit there.
A little scrappy. As this will draw them backwards, only briefly.
Skyline is kind of silent right now, I'm not going to lie. Oh, it's going to be actually an encroachment
very
penalty.
Interesting.
It's an encroachment penalty on Skyline there. They saw the motion man.
We
and
were
they
so confident
immediately
that
ran. I thought that was a false start.
I thought
but
so too.
Encroachment on the defense.
And so did Del Pitts. They all backed up.
It's kind of hard to hear when the refs don't have the over-the-mic speakers like they do in the NFL. Kissinger in the shotgun, takes a snap, going to throw. He's looking for DeGesualdo on the side, and he just couldn't reel it in as that ball thrown a little too far ahead of DeGesualdo, and he's frustrated with.
Almost had his fingertips around that ball. It was just a wow.
Untouched Preston. Kissinger. And
honestly,
touchdown Frederick.
There was a little love tap there from number 0, Roderick Hobbs. It looked like he just kind of gave him a little boop.
Kind of gave up on the play.
Yeah. I was waiting for him to kind of like turn around and like do something.
Yeah, nothing happened.
I feel like right now, you know, we talked about the tiredness and just the fatigue right now, especially in this game. I think it's starting to settle in for them.
As Cahoon on to kick the PAT once again. He's been perfect tonight. And that one up and again, we'll keep that going. As Cahoon has just been so accurate with that leg, just following through. We saw Meade, he missed that field goal, but I was talking with DeGesualdo, who's his hold man, and he was kind of talking, you know, he didn't really fall through with the kick, so that's probably a focus that he focused on a lot this week, was following through on that kick, and it's shown tonight. It's evident tonight that he has been dominating in that. He's got 5 PAT attempts and 5 perfect kicks.
I was going to say, he's been on his A game, as has the rest of the team. Is now your Golden Eagles. It is only the third quarter. Ooh, ladies and gentlemen, we are leading 35-6. This is starting to
29.
This is starting to turn into the ferocity that we saw from that Broomfield game. Yeah.
As we did see a quarterback switch in that Bear County game. They brought in Kendrick Gomez, the backup quarterback for Morales, but I don't expect that to be the switch immediately right now. But
I think maybe start of the fourth quarter.
How long will he go in that starting role? Squib kick that time. Skyline's going to try to return this one, but smart move to just get the ball and kneel it, which is interesting. I would have tried to take that personally, but the Eagles were storming down, so smart idea to just take the knee. As once again, we see the Skyline offense hop onto the field.
You know, I feel like if you're Morales right now, I think you realize the desperation of the situation, and I think right now it's kind of winning the game, I hate to say it, is kind of out of your hands right now. It really just comes down to, as an offense, if you move as a unit, if you make, you know, these quick, successful drives back to back, but you need your defense.
You have to get in the, I think if you're Morales right now, to get this momentum back, you got to get in the end zone first.
Yes, 100%. And you need to rely on your defense for those quick stops.
Morales keeps it himself. Beautiful move down the middle of the field. There he goes. He's got 2 men to catch him up. And that's going to be wrapped up. DJ Swaldo gets in there on the hit, but man, oh man, Morales with the keeper. And there is a man down for Frederick back at the 39-yard line. And that is Eric Ross, who is shaken up. Hate to see that, especially a guy who is such an asset for Frederick's offense and defense.
And he looks like he's kind of...
I'm hoping
it looks like a cramp. Yeah, it looks like a cramp.
It was such an interesting look as Morales with a nice little fake the handoff and then immediately hit that hole, and then he got Eddie Riley again, where Riley tried to commit one way and then he moves the other direction and he just finds a wide open lane, and then nobody in the vicinity until he gets down.
I mean, the trickery was executed beautifully, as you said. The whole trick play where it's like, hey, we're going to kind of misdirect you here on this play, and Riley fell for it, as unfortunate as that is.
Yes.
Left that lane, as you said, wide open. As
Ross is still down, so some concern down there if you're Frederick, but hopefully, you know, you got Andy down there. He's doing whatever Andy does best. But like I talked about, a little mini, I kind of see him as a little Lamar Jackson. That was a Lamar Jackson-esque run. It reminds me of his run against the Bengals a couple years ago where he had that beautiful spin which shook up 2 guys and just took it all the way to the house. You know, a fantasy owner at the time.
Morales was close there.
Having Lamar on my fantasy team for that was great. But
did you win your league?
Yes, I did.
Not the flex.
I did win the league. Ross gets up and he's able to walk under his own feet, so that is a great sign to see. As he's kind of stomping that right foot.
A little bit of like a little
discomfort.
Yeah,
it's a lot of discomfort. So hoping nothing too major. And I mean, you are up by 29 points, so maybe it's the time to think, okay, yeah, you can take him out the game for the rest of the game. You don't need to.
And throw in some of these second strings. You know what I mean? Throw in some of these backups.
You don't have to keep the starters out there. Obviously, they're going to want to keep out there. They want to keep running up the score. But
as much as their heart wants to, it's one of those where at the same time you do have to think about the safety. You guys need rest at the same time. You know, especially
you did your job. Take a rest. Morales in the shotgun. He's going to throw, blotted up. Hoagie with the blitz, and he just gets all up in Morales' face.
And he didn't even see, I think, that he batted it. I think he was waiting for it and, you know, almost dumbfounded it where it fell. I mean, he could have easily
picked that off.
Yes,
that
and then that probably would have been a pick 6 if we're being honest. There was nothing over there. I mean, depending on.
Yeah, there's nobody back there to make a play. So
yeah,
great play by Hoagie. And again, we talked about the blitzing that they are going to come in with this game, and Hoagie off the edge has blitzed quite a few times.
But his name has been prominent, and that's the thing, is the blitzing has been effective, and Morales has felt the pressure from both sides.
He's a little shaken up right now. Morales in the shotgun. He's going to give it to Malt. Malt finds the hole, piling his way through on the second down carry. He's going to get 7 on the play, so it's going to be a 3rd and 3. As we're going to throw it down to the sideline with Dante Lechuga. Dante.
Thanks, Ian. I'm down here with Eric Ross. He just told me he sprained his ankle on his right foot. Nothing too serious. He'll be questionable to return in tonight's game. Back up to you, Ian.
Thank you, Dante. Is great insight there with Eric Ross. Hard to see that, but hopefully they're just going to let him rest the rest of this game. There's
100%.
no reason to get him back on the field.
No. It's not a high-pressure situation right now. You are in a comfortable lead.
Under pressure, stepping up, has a man. Pump faked it, and a great job there, and he's going to walk his way in. Touchdown, Skyline.
Hoagie got a little excited right there. Saw him obviously come screaming in from that side, but it's one of those where you have to be a little cautious. You know, if you're Hoagie, where he got a little overexcited. I think he was trying to bat the pass like what he was doing on that last drive, because he didn't go for Morales necessarily. It was one of those where, as I believe they're going to go for that two-point conversion.
They're going to go for the two-point conversion again, which, I mean, is not a bad idea here. Now would be the time to go for the two-point
now
conversion.
is like the desperation call for that two-point conversion.
That was a great, pump fake kind of play to get the DBs to turn their head to make a play on the ball, but great job just opening up the lane for him to just walk it in.
And he was shifty, too, might I add. I mean, that was fast footwork.
Keeps it himself, and he's going to get wrapped up in the backfield going nowhere as Landon Olsen back there first to make the contact to shake him up. It reminded me of Jonah Ellis this weekend for the Broncos. He came in the backfield and took down Cam Ward in a kind of a situation where he's immediately in the backfield. So Frederick looking very, very good defensively. Few miscues, misplays, but besides that, Frederick's still up by 23 points.
And I think right now, if you're Frederick, you should be proud of everything that you've done in this game. Putting aside, maybe a few mistakes that have happened, sloppy things I think that happen, every single game. But it's one of those where if you clean them up the next week, it's one of those where I think just watching them right now, they're having fun. And that's something that they missed those first 2 weeks, is it wasn't fun. It was just devastating.
It was heartbreaking, yeah. And I mean, the thing to see with Frederick right now is they, like you said, are having fun. But the thing about the last two games, they weren't like the Meade game they were disappointed. But Coach Lloyd was not disappointed in how they played over the Meade game. I mean, they lost, but he felt that they played pretty well. And against Broomfield, they felt they played great against Broomfield. I will say they played very good against the reigning state champions.
100%. I was about to say, very poised whenever they played Broomfield. I think it was one of those where, especially, in PK situation, we talked with him afterwards, and it was one of those where he wasn't very disappointed. And I like to see that. Obviously no team likes to lose, and this is no different.
Del Pitts on the return. He lost the ball and then picked it up. Got to run, and he got clobbered that time. Tried to just turn on the jets and move, but Del Pitts, I wouldn't be too disappointed on that return on the short kick.
That was like the garbage compactor scene from Star Wars, where where they're stuck in there, and there was no wiggle room for him to escape whatsoever. Del Pitts, good little return on what could have easily turned ugly very quickly.
Yes, very, very quickly. As we see Frederick's offense hobble back onto the field once again without Eric Ross this time. So watch for Connor Betancourt as the main tight end now. He's going to be kind of the guy that they're going to try to lean on. I wonder who they're going to throw back there if they want to run that I formation play again. They're in that bunch formation right now as Nathaniel Gonzalez in the game now at running back. So an interesting look there, bringing in Gonzalez.
Just
as a high snap.
Sophomore.
Kissinger lost the ball. I think Frederick's going to jump back on that ball as there's those miscues from Sungapulatelli and Kissinger as that snap goes right over the head, and Kissinger's going to have probably a little bit of frustration after that. That's another snap that happens just like that, as Morales thought they got the ball.
And you know what I
think he's playing defense, actually. I'm not really sure what's happening, but I think he thought they had the ball, and they didn't get the ball. So he's playing free safety back there, so I guess
they got it.
I guess he's a safety.
Yeah,
I think
that's interesting. Frederick will remain in possession.
The pitch by Del Pitts. We've seen this play over and over again, and it's worked to its play. And again, as there is going to be a flag back there, it might be a block in the back or a holding once again, which is going to be so disappointing as Sonny Del Pitts got back to the line. He got 11 on that carry. It looks like a first down and second and, what was it down? I don't even know, like 23. Second and 23.
Yeah, and it's one of those where that's very,
that's going to back him up.
Yeah, that'll hurt them. That'll hurt them big time. It's one of those where, they had it set up beautifully, but that block in the backfield will just erase what could have been a beautiful start to, once again, another possibly scoring drive.
As they just keep going back and back and back.
Oh,
time to just let it rip.
I was going to say, it's one of those where, and that is the risk kind of a thing, though, with those toss plays in the backfield. You know, if you get caught in too much traffic kind of a thing, you know, you do run the risk of possibly being hit with one of those block in the backs. And that is kind of the whole dangerous thing with all that traffic and congestion.
Yeah, it's going to be a second and longer screen pass. There's Hoagie. He has nothing but green grass. Hoagie cutting outside, and another flag is down. Back where the initial contact was again, so we might see Frederick back it up again.
We might be, like, encroaching on, like, the inside the 5.
Yeah, we might see Frederick running it out of their own goal line.
Yeah, it looks like that was Betancourt showing imminent frustration, as it looks like they will be brought back even farther.
Yeah, this is not a good look for Frederick right now.
No,
Back-to-back flags on 2 huge plays. Hoagie got that first down on a second and a mile.
Well, and what's interesting is, you know, talking at that halfway point in this game, in between kind of that first half and second half, one of the biggest things that I mentioned was that whole mentality of, like, yes, get a little spicy with what you're doing, but at the same time, don't be ignorant with it, kind of a thing. Don't do anything that can hurt you. And this is back-to-back plays.
Second and 28.
Ooh. So second
in
in like 4 miles, a marathon.
On their own 9-yard line. He's going to air it out. He was looking for DeGesualdo down the sideline, and
DeGesualdo wasn't even in the area.
He got caught up, and he's staring down his DB there. As I don't know, he was trying to get him down the seam, down that line, but DeGesualdo kind of ran into the DB and then stopped running, and he saw how far that ball was thrown ahead. As PK was trusting in that 50-50 ball, trying to get it up there. As DeGesualdo, that's 2 targets now where he just can't find a way to get under the ball.
And, I mean, honestly, props to Skyline. Skyline has played excellent defense, specifically whenever it comes to their cornerbacks and safeties. You know, they have stayed very close with these, like, man-to-man coverage type situations, and they've really made sure that DeGesualdo had no outlets.
3rd and a country mile. He's going to go back to DeGesualdo down the sideline, and he just can't get a hand on that one as frustration, as he thought he was going to be able to come through with that one, as Cahoon's going to come on, and Frederick's going to punt for the first time tonight.
And honestly, you know, I thought it was going to be one of those cool, like, helmet catches where, you know, you catch it right up against the helmet. And it's one of those where not the first time that we've seen that, maybe the first time for this Frederick offense, but obviously frustration pretty much boiling off of DeGesualdo. And rightfully so. That's 3 targets, at least that I remember. 3 significant targets, and he just hasn't been able to kind of find a lane. And honestly, it's not even necessarily his own fault. There has been, you know, with PK, some of those, oh my goodness.
Short punt by Cahoon, as they're just going to let it bounce. Frederick's going to try to get on top of that as quickly as possible to get rid of that damage, as Skyline will be set up with excellent field position. So this is the start that Skyline needed, is to get that touchdown, get the stop. Now can they get that ball back into the end zone is the question. Frederick's defense is going to be coming in here and trying to do something big here.
I was going to say, as I was saying, you know, with Frederick's offense, it's very interesting. Obviously, PK slings the rock beautifully, but I think there are these situations where he's putting himself in these pressure type situations. It's not even necessarily the defense. It's just he's throwing it too quickly almost, and I think he needs to be comfortable in his own skin in that pocket.
Snap. He's going to throw the screen pass out wide. Good catch. Good blocking outside. And Frederick can't wrap up. He's going to get the first down there with a gain of 11. That's Miley Davis once again on that screen. Skyline loves that screen game so far tonight.
I was going to say, if we were talking about a different Miley, one could say he came in like a wrecking ball and able to secure that first down for the Skyline Falcons. And interesting, they're moving. And that's kind of dangerous. If you're Frederick, this is something that you need to keep in mind. I don't care how late in the game it is. You don't stop playing until that clock reads 0-0.
Yeah, you don't want to start, you know, letting up some plays like they are right now. You got to really stay strong. I don't care how big the deficit is. This is still a football game. There is still over 17 minutes to go on the clock, which turns into more of a 20, 30 minutes left in this game. Blitz again. Frederick bringing the pressure. That ball might have got tipped at the line, but again, Davis just makes the grab and gets through. As that actually is not Davis. That's Stanish with the grab again on that
We
side.
haven't heard his name in a little bit, but once again, he's here to make the announcement that no, he has not left the game. As, you know, snagging traffic, that's hard to kind of catch if you're Frederick's defense. It's hard to spot that right out the gate. As you said, ball might have been tipped because it looked like, you know, he had to snack
low,
it.
Yeah,
I was going to say, he had to kind of throw it a little low and not necessarily something that we've seen from him very much. So
in the shotgun once again, Morales gives the ball off. That run's going to get, I think, 3. The ball pops out. Frederick's going to get on top of it.
As I believe that was Hoagie who jumped on top of it.
What? And the call is going to be a fumble, so Malt drops the ball literally, and Frederick gets that possession back. Great defensive stop there by Frederick.
I mean, beautiful. You kind of saw the momentum swing with Skyline. They were starting to kind of figure things out, and it's one of those where as soon as Hoagie saw that ball on the turf, he jumped on it.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of eagerness that you need.
That ball popped way back.
It did. I mean, and it was props to Hoagie. I mean, he fell on the fumble, and he made it look so easy. I mean, wrapped up in everything, because it's one of those where you don't want that ball to just be shifting around on that field and popping out of players' hands. And so Hoagie able to secure it.
There's the pitch to Del Pitts, and nobody on that side. Cuts it back up the field. Sonny Del Pitts, he's at the 40 of Frederick. Cuts it back up the field. He's still not down. He's at the 50. Sonny Del Pitts cuts it again. He is still going down to the 39-yard line. And a huge run from Sonny Del Pitts.
Oh, my goodness. Sonny Del Pitts. Is there anything that this man cannot do? Able to find his own lane. I mean, literally, it wasn't even necessarily a struggle to find that lane. Just able to cut it pretty much right upfield. And my goodness, Sonny Del Pitts bouncing around, shedding tackles, as now he will place this ball for this Frederick offense on the 31-yard line.
Yeah, huge, huge run from Del Pitts there. Kissinger in the I formation once again. And the play action pass. He's looking down the field. He's looking for Norwood. Going up the tall receiver. Great pass breakup that time. As Norwood, he came in the game defensively. He came in for Eric Ross. But a great defensive play that time by Harrison. Once again, gets a hand in there. We've heard his name a few times on that defensive back position. He's been playing pretty good back there. And Norwood just tried to go up for the head top. That's a useful play if you're PK. If you've got a guy like Norwood who is that tall, to just try to get up there and go. And if that last name does sound familiar,
it'll probably remain familiar too.
It'll remain familiar. As they line up in the I formation again. As I believe that's Eddie Riley who comes into the game offensively, coming in for that Eric Ross role as the fullback. Pitch, Del Pitts. Again, try to cut up the field. That time Skyline was having none of it.
Del Pitts, that's one of the only times where I've kind of seen his momentum stall out pretty much at the line of scrimmage, if not behind, as now this brings up a 3rd and long for them. And it's one of those where it looks like 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10, maybe back to the line of scrimmage if possible. But it's one of those where, I don't know, I think that was probably one of the only times where Del Pitts has been silenced. And so at this point, I say, you know, you have DeGesualdo all by himself, and obviously you've targeted him a few times.
Watch.
And he hasn't come down with it, but
the play action. Yeah, the play action game here. As Kissinger is going to throw it to DeGesualdo. DeGesualdo with his first grab, jukes it up the field. Got to get about 6 yards, so it's going to set up a 4th down. What do you do here, Cahoon? It's going to be a far kick, but
what was the kick distance for the Meade game?
I heard it was closer than this.
It was closer.
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
I heard Cahoon apparently made a 50-yarder in practice. That's what Reno says.
That's
so
pretty hefty.
If he can make that, I would trust him to come on the field here in such a big situation right here. Frederick might just try to go for the jump here on this down.
We've seen them do that before.
We'll see what they do here as they call the timeout. So they're going to try to figure out what they want to do here.
And honestly, this is one of those scenarios where it's not a very high-pressure situation. Obviously, we talked about, you know, there is the whole you don't necessarily want your momentum to stall out. That's the biggest piece, especially late in the game. Like I said, you don't want to give up anything big. You don't want to allow Skyline to kind of crawl their way back into this game.
You're still only in the 3rd quarter, too, so there is a lot of time.
100%. And I think, you know, if you were to kind of handle it like a high-pressure situation, I say keep yourself out there.
Del Pitts.
Exactly, Del Pitts. And
Del
whether
Pitts.
that's a sweep, maybe a jet sweep around the edge.
Get some trickery going.
Or I don't know, maybe you throw some blockers in front of him and just see what he can do.
I would like to see Frederick run some trickery here. We have seen a little bit of that wing offensive run where they have two guys kind of run in front of PK, and PK picks which one he wants to give it to. So maybe run something like that. Get something going here. Maybe you see DJ Schwaldo low. The DB is playing 10 yards off, so maybe a little screen. There's that trickery play. Del Pitts finds the hole. Sonny Del Pitts is going to be gone. Touchdown, Frederick.
Del Pitts, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 touchdowns, and he is willing to make it 5.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll happen. I can pretty much guarantee.
The chance of you can't touch him as he pretty much went untouched through that hole as Frederick is going to make.
And it was interesting. It was so interesting to see kind of the Falcons' defense collapse as, once he broke past that first line of defense, he was gone. There was nobody over there. And as you put it, and as the rowdy crowd said,
you can't touch him.
Untouched. He was untouched as he was able to amble his way straight to that beautiful shot of glory, as now he has 4 touchdowns on this game.
Perfect. 6 for 6 from Cahoon, with another one flying through the uprights as Garrett Cahoon, as the lead has extended to 30. Tonight's broadcast is brought to you in part by LGI Homes. They don't just want to build houses, they want to build homes. Why rent when you can own? Visit their Hidden Creek community off Ridgeway Boulevard in Frederick for affordable move-in ready homes for $400 with kitchen appliance included. No extra cost. LGI Homes is proud to support the Golden Eagle Broadcast Network and our local schools. LGI Homes, making the dream of home ownership possible.
Or homership. I mean, home ownership. Just a little blob, a little blurb of words.
Watch the squib kick here. They've done it the last 2 kickoffs, so maybe Cahoon go for like an onside.
Yep.
That ball went right over a few Skyline players in that first line as Frederick is flying down to make a defensive stop here. Ball goes around the outside, and Frederick is all over that. Return down to the 23-yard line. So Frederick now will come back out on defense after the fumble, and we will see what this defense will do. Hopefully get another stop, and will we see much more of Sonny Del Pitts tonight for Frederick will be the question.
I feel like if you're Sonny, maybe you want to make it like a...
He wants 5.
Yeah, he wants 5. He wants to be able to throw up that 5. And honestly, I don't blame him with the effort and just overall the pure performance that he's put on tonight, quite frankly. I mean, he's deserving of those 5 touchdowns. He's deserving to throw up that entire palm and all those fingers and just say, hey, I'm here.
He wants another one. I guarantee he does. Will Lloyd keep the offense on the field, though? That is the question. I honestly don't think he will, but we will see what happens next. Morales is in the shotgun again. Motion man looking to throw. Pressure coming from Frederick. Gets all over him, but he's going to escape. There's that running mentality as he's going to take a shot there. And a lot of effort to only get 2 on the gain. Has a huge, huge run there. Frederick got in the backfield very, very quickly.
Yeah, it looked like that was number...
Riley LaRusso again. We haven't heard his name much coming into tonight, but he has been a name to know now. After giving up that big, big screeching play, he has been all over it tonight. He's not allowed anything to happen. So right now, Skyline, they're trying to run a little bit of trickery, trying to get some open lanes going, and that's that dual threat mentality that Morales is having, where he's just moving the ball well with his feet. In the shotgun once again, there's that motion man, Davis again. Going to throw that bubble screen again to Davis. Davis is clobbered that time, as I believe that is Reno DiGesualdo on the hard-hitting play. Is a loss of 3 on the play. 3rd and 12.
Yeah, it was hard to tell. I think that was LaRusso again. I want to say that was back-to-back plays. Apologies, folks. We have an awful angle.
It's hard. It's hard to see from up here. I think honestly, it was the 12 and the 2 look very similar. So one of the two. Reno's on this side, so it might have been LaRusso, but a great job again by LaRusso, just flying down and getting that contact.
He sniffed it out before anything really happened.
3rd and 11. Davis again in the motion on the other side this time. So watch the screen again the other time. Pressure in the backfield. Morales is going to step up. Frederick is all over it. Low pass is dropped by Kearns. So that will be a 4th and 11.
returns. We've seen him kind of have to make those miracle plays before with those low balls. I think, that's a tendency, I think, that we're seeing from Skyline's offense is, when under pressure, they just kind of dump it off, which is a dangerous game to play, quite frankly. It's one of those where it was in traffic. It was, that crossing route, and it was one of those where there was really no chance of him catching it. It caught him off guard, I think, more than anything, and significant pressure from those D linemen and some of those linebackers coming screaming in.
Malt with a pretty good punt, high-moving punt. Del Pitts is going to let it hit, and that's going to bounce exactly on the 50-yard line. It's going to give Frederick bounce to the 49-yard line. So we will see the offense hobble back onto the field. Tonight's broadcast is brought to you in part by LineX of Boulder. Whether it's protecting your truck bed, adding accessories, or making your vehicle adventure ready, LineX of Boulder has you covered. We're proud to have them as a partner of the Golden Eagle Broadcast Network. LineX of Boulder, tough, durable, and built for life. As now the offense back on the field. It looks like the starters are still out there, so maybe they just want to run the score out. Just don't stop.
Honestly, I don't blame them because, I think a lot of the times, some people will say, oh, well, that's not, very ethical for both teams. It's not, sportsmanship. But at the same time, it's like they haven't been able to score the past 2 games. It has been a struggle boat, and so this is the game. If you're going to run the score, run the score.
Del Pitts on the outside. There he goes again, looking for touchdown number 5. Cuts at the 20. He's at the 15, grabbed down at the 13. And there is a man back at the 31-yard line for Skyline who is down. And once again, Del Pitts hitting the hole on the right side and just exploding out of there.
And they've left it wide open this entire time. That's a tendency we've seen is typically he does tend to lean towards that right side. But even from that left, he finds the open lane. And it's a little concerning that the Falcons haven't doubled down on some of those lanes.
As when we come back, the start of the 4th quarter here on the Golden Eagle Broadcast Network.
Are you tired of paying rent or constantly moving from one place to another? LGI Homes has the solution for you. We offer affordable new homes with exceptional quality. With our simplified buying process and zero down options available, easily achieve the dream of homeownership and quickly move into your new home. At LGI Homes, we have it all, offering new homes complete with upgrades, designed to add style, value, and energy efficiency to your life. Find your new home today with LGI Homes.
As we are back here, start of the 4th quarter's flipping sides. Now is one final quarter, 12 minutes to go as there's a stretch going on the 32-yard line of Skyline's side. Maybe try to get him onto the sideline. That's a concern to see right there. You hate to see that. You hate to see somebody down, especially any side of the ball. So Frederick still have the starters in. I think if they score here, you have 7 touchdowns on the night. Would it be time to call the starters out? Say you did your job.
I think so, but I think you give Del Pitts his 5 fingers to throw up and kind of smack down, and so
give him the dunk.
Exactly.
Oh. Back up and running. That's number 16. Harrison, once again, he's been a great
Harrison's
asset.
Been an asset
in the defensive back area. So to see him come off and then come back on pretty much instantly.
He
is
popped
very
up very
impressive.
lively,
He said,
yes.
All right, we're ready to go. Someone gave him some smelling salts or something. Get him popped up and ready to go.
I always see those videos of people getting caught off guard like they're sleeping or something, and smelling salts will do something to you.
And the handoff, Eddie Riley's going to take care of it. A good run of 5. So I think that is Eddie Riley on the field. It's hard to tell from up here. It could be Betancourt. I think that is Betancourt on the.
Is it number 8? Apologies, folks.
That is Riley. That is Eddie Riley, I believe, running off there. So hopefully that's Eddie Riley. I believe it is. 2nd and 6 for Frederick now. Only 4 on the game that time. Watching the line get set up there. Kissinger. Play action pass. He's going to look for the end zone. High ball. Norwood. Caught. Touchdown, Frederick.
Norwood obviously very pleased, and he didn't even have to go up necessarily. You know, maybe he jumped on the balls of his feet, but it wasn't even like he really had to do much of anything. It was literally just a snag from the air, and he had the defender beat not only in sheer size, but just height.
It was a beautifully executed play. Like you said, he didn't really have to get up and go get it, and that was just a good ball by Kissinger to just get it up in the air.
I was going to say, and just high enough to where he knew the defender couldn't reach it, and perfectly placed.
As Cajon, perfect. 7 of 7, as Frederick has made it 49-12, tying that score from last year that they put on Skyline. Oh, actually exceeding that score. 43-9 was that score last year. 49-12 this year.
As poor Skyline, the rowdy crowd is starting to file out, looks like.
Yeah, I mean, you hate to see your team get pummeled, but
Frederick
has been ready for this game. Skyline has been pummeled over and over and over again this season.
It's probably not a great feeling, you know, if you're if you're a member of the rowdy crowd. And our rowdy crowd is small. It's not even like we have a huge audience to back it up. But for those of you who showed up, it's appreciated. I mean, it really does make a difference.
And I mean, for you who are watching right now,
I was about to say, that also makes a difference.
Makes a huge, huge difference. Setting up that kick again from Cajon. I'm expecting maybe another short kick. Not get too much on it. You don't really want to give up too much.
Honestly, if I'm Lloyd, I say don't pull the starters until Del Pitts gets that fifth.
I would pull everybody but Del Pitts.
Oh,
I would keep him in the game.
I see what you mean. That's smart.
Far kick, caught at the 2. Trying to cut it up the field. Good spin move, and he is hit by that Frederick team again. That is number 5, Miley Davis again.
Good old Miley.
He has been, him and Ben Kearns has been the two of the biggest players for Skyline. That's not obviously Morales, who's
100%.
been doing everything.
They've been the playmakers, I would have to say, for tonight, whether it's defensively, offensively. I think they've played both sides of the ball extremely well, and I'm curious to kind of see what Morales makes of this.
In the shotgun for Morales, 2 wide receivers, 2 to his right, 2 to his left. We're running back on his right hip now.
And it's interesting they haven't pulled him. At this point,
let him play. I mean, he's played pretty well, I will say, and he has not played bad. And the pressure's in there. Hoagie trying to get him from behind. That ball is wrapped up, and watch that ball possibly almost popped out there. And that's going to be another sack from Frederick.
I mean, beautiful execution. Looked like that was number 20, Landon Olson, one of the defensive linemen. He has come screaming in there.
Hoagie is looking like Von Miller out there for me from Super Bowl 50. He's coming from behind, getting ready to plake that strip sack from Morales, but Morales has just been pretty locked in.
I was going to say, Morales, which sometimes, obviously, as a quarterback, that's hard to do, you know?
You're going to get blindsided. You got it's going to be close, yeah, for sure. Morales in the shotgun, trips right. Looking to throw pressure. Drives it down, and they say another fumble. That sideline is amped up. As did Malt fumble again.
It looks
and
like.
And he did.
It looks like he did. It looks like It looks like Salmeron might have recovered it.
As they're going to discuss this, it's hard in these high school sports. You don't have a replay. You can't go back and look.
Especially
in
a pile.
Yep.
That makes it like 10 times trickier to kind of see when did the ball pop out. Was there already a body part down that could change this call?
They're going to say, one official says Frederick ball, and the rest agree. It's hard definitely getting a pile like that too. Try to see. You know, the ball might have popped out, but was there a knee down? Was something 100%. Was there a ligament that hit the ground? But didn't seem like it. And like you said, Salmeron coming in, like I said, he's been a huge, huge factor for this defense. And to get that fumble recovery, the second one of the night for Frederick. So the turnover battle, like we talked about earlier, has been in Frederick's favor. The interception, the 2 fumbles, and now Kissinger.
They're bringing pressure.
Under center, the give off. There's the hole that time. Break-in tackles. Nathaniel Gonzalez still moving. Might have got that extra yard or 2. Gets him down after a gain of 9. Gonzalez looking good on the ground. That's their 3rd string running back there.
I mean, he looked very poised and just collected. I feel like all of our running backs run very similar. You know, it's this aggressive, like, I'm going to
downhill
bowl over you pretty much, and just like this bowling ball that just doesn't stop and the legs keep churning no matter what, which is exactly what you want for your running back.
I hate to say it, but I think Del Pitts is out of the game. The only starters that are left
My heart
is
is
obviously
broken.
that O-line.
Maybe they
PK,
throw him in
Swaldo.
at the line, depending on.
Jamison Zhang with the run that time, as he tried to hit the hole but just couldn't. And a cleat came off that time. I think that's Gonzalez's cleat. Came off his foot that time. First down though by Jamison. We saw him with the 2 kick returns. He gets his opportunity now.
His moment of justice.
Little JV Demon. 9 minutes to go. At some point, this clock is going to start staying running. So.
And honestly, I feel like if you're the Falcons, you're almost waiting for that point at this point. I mean, like I said, you never stop until that clock hits 0. You don't stop turning your legs. You don't stop tackling. You don't stop putting in your full effort. But at the same time, it wears you down.
There's Zhang on the carry again. Finds the hole. Fighting for some yards. He looks like he's only going to get about 5. So.
Second and about halfway to go.
Second and mid. They say second and 4. So it's going to be heavy pitch, I formation run that we've seen. And a timeout called by the Skyline Falcons as they're just waiting for this game to kind of be over.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm loving this, the whole, you know, I talked about the whole Wildcat formation, and just put the formation aside, but just the mentality that, like, we're going to rely fully on our running backs. And right now, it's really paying off stupendously.
As I thought a timeout was called, Gonzalez trying to find the hole. Going to get about 2 or 3, so it'll set up a second down, or 3rd and short for this Frederick offense to keep Preston Kissinger in the game and keep DJ Swaldo in the game. I think DJ Swaldo's in the game to block. He's been very, very, very good at blocking.
He's been a proficient blocker. I think maybe, honestly, you know, the next time I talk to him, I think he's probably going to be a little frustrated just with the you know, the targets.
The miscatches. But I believe the game that DJ Swaldo has played very well in is blocking. And he had that one grab early in the 3rd quarter. So opportunities were there, but a little miscommunication between him and PK. So we'll see what they do here. Gonzalez, again, will take the handoff. Gonzalez finds the hole. Nathaniel Gonzalez. Say they got him down at the 1.
Looks like maybe his knee was down just shy.
As on the sideline right now, we see Kendrick Gomez kind of warming up for Skyline. So does that mean Morales is done for the night?
I was about to say, I mean, as soon as you start warming up your freshman back up, I think that's how you know.
I think it's time.
This is probably the end of the game.
So we will see most likely another just quick handoff here. Kissinger gives. Gonzalez finds the hole. And, well, once again, Frederick is in the end zone. Touchdown, Golden Eagles.
And, I mean, if Cahoon can poke this one through, he's going to be, what, 8 for 8?
8 for 8.
That'll make it 56-12. And, I mean, quite frankly, this is unanimously a shutdown. This is a shutdown offensively. This is a shutdown defensively. I mean, it's a shutdown on special teams. I mean,
Frederick has really come into tonight with the mentality that they are going to dominate, and that's what they have done.
And I can't help but feel a little bad for the Falcons as Cahoon able to poke it through. 8 for 8. Oof.
That is impressive.
Quite the little record he's setting for himself right there.
It is very impressive. I love to see Garrett Cahoon get his opportunity to kick those PATs up, especially after the missed field goal he had against Meade, trying to get his get back, and I think eight PATs will do that for him. That's
100%.
That's an 8-point score rather than 3. So
yes, I was about to say, and it's one of those where this is the get back game for everybody. Honestly, if you're Frederick, offensively, defensively, we talked about it. This is your get back game. As now 56-12, this clock finally hit that point. I think this is. You heard a little sigh of relief maybe from some of the players saying, whew.
Well, let's just pack it up and try to just just figure out next week.
I was about to say exactly. I think if you're Skyline right now, you're at the point where you know you're not going to win this game. This is a brutal loss for you if you're Skyline.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know, coming off of that Bear Creek loss too, where they lost unanimously. It was a shutout.
It's the same score that they had against Bear Creek, a 42-point deficit, except they didn't score in that game. So, they did have a lot of offensive cues that worked well. Davis on the return this time, going to get a few contact hits, but doesn't go down. Still churning and burning those legs. Tackle down at the 27. So we will see that Frederick defense come back on the field. I would be surprised if we saw some starters in the game.
Yeah,
For Frederick's
Davis
defense.
fought for as many yards as he possibly could get, as now.
Justin Pankoff, I see on the D-line.
I do see Justin Pankoff.
That is a GBN, I would say legend.
Legend, yes.
The junior.
I was going to say, most of the edits that you saw from, like,
The last
yeah, I was
couple
gonna say
years.
the
that's
last
been
couple
from
years, that's been
Pankoff.
him. That's been Pankoff, and he plays excellent football,
A
too.
lot of young guys in that defense. I mean, Martinez is still out there, but that is still Martinez is a junior, so he is still going to be in that game. Motion man there. Gomez in the shotgun. Gets the snap. They're going to give it off again, the run. He's going to get hit and goes down.
As looks like that was Danny Betrez on the outside, too. Little
Garola.
Danny getting a little bit of time.
Garola, the running back that time. And Danny, yeah, Betrez getting in the game. His name has been said a few times on GBN.
As there's so many familiar faces, too. I want to see who number 36 is, though.
Kelsall, Aaron Kelsall.
He's a little sophomore. He's 130 pounds.
The run that time, and Kelsall gets in there on the tackle.
There
And the
you go.
sideline is amped up that time on the tackle.
I mean, this is one of those where, you know, seeing some of these guys, you know, they've never maybe touched the ball during a
Yeah,
varsity game, and
exactly.
so
Now
this
they're-
is huge for most of them.
They're getting their opportunities as the sideline is amped up. You love to see that support from your guys, especially veteran guys on the sideline. Oh, is Frederick going to jump off sides that
Frederick's
time?
gonna
That is
jump.
Pankoff.
Yeah, got a little eager, kind of jumped the gun, no pun intended.
Doesn't. It's not a bad thing. Just. Oh, false start.
Interesting.
I mean, you have every right to move if someone moves. So
We now have under 3 minutes left in this decimation of a matchup, and it's one of those where, you know, if you're Frederick, I'm loving the team spirit that we're seeing. You know what I mean? It's great to see, just like, as you said, the sideline is so fired up.
sideline rowdy crowd. What's the remainder of it for Frederick's rowdy crowd is going crazy. Joel Chambers leading that crowd. Love to see that.
And I was going to say, there'll be a podcast soon enough with
Yep.
maybe that familiar name.
Low snap, fumbled it up, and Frederick is going to be all over Gomez that time. Driving him, I think, the wrong way, though. But it doesn't really matter. 2:15 to go in the game. If you're Skyline, might as well just go for it here. You got nothing to lose.
I was going to say, nothing necessarily will change with this outcome. I think a little bit of frustration from Gomez.
As I think that's DJ Swaldo heading back there. So he's going to get 1 or 2 more reps. He's taking the gloves off, so I don't think he expected to come back in the game, to be fair. But DJ Swaldo, great return, man. I want to see him get loose.
He's fast.
He is very, very fast, and Kershaw is storming off the field that time. And here's the punt. Low snap once again. As Frederick getting back there trying to block that punt. Is a very, very low punt. Very short punt. So it's going to take a Frederick bounce. Gets up to the 46-yard line. So once again, Frederick will start in great, great territory. Will we see Deshaun Lewis, the JV quarterback? Will we see him come in and take a stab at this varsity rep? Not sure.
Honestly, at this point, I feel like if you're Frederick, you can kind of do whatever you want in this game. Honestly, I say give PK the break that he deserves. I mean, he's been
for sure.
slinging
He's been
that
doing
thing.
great. He
He's
had a
been
great game.
dancing around in that backfield this entire time. Hasn't really had a moment to himself. I say give him a little bit of time, and even if you throw him in, just kind of hand it off, right? Like,
Let's see what they do. Cahoon in the game. Is Cahoon playing QB? Love to see Garrett Cahoon, the backup quarterback's in the game now. Let's see Cahoon. Let's see what he does here. 45 seconds to go in this game. Motion man. Snap. Cahoon's going to keep it. Garrett Cahoon rounding the outside. Going Cahoon. Breaking tackles. Oh, takes a shot. down to the 44-yard line. That contact was more two Skyline players hitting them each other. Cahoon kind of was
that
just
was less
the sandwich.
contact, yeah. That was less contact between the two.
That's scary if that's your kicker taking the contact there, but he is registered on the team as the backup quarterback, so.
Yes, he is.
Good to see Cahoon.
Honestly, he can do it all, too, and I think that's something that we need to utilize more often is Garrett Cahoon he's deadly no matter what he does.
As the clock winding down, Frederick with a statement victory here in week 3. We'll move to 1-2. Skyline falls to 0-3 on the season. What a win by Frederick, coming in on Thursday night lights and taking the domination victory, a 44-point victory.
And my goodness, as you put it, that is a statement and a half. And that's something that Frederick, I think, needs to carry with them into this next game. And it's impressive. This was, even though it wasn't necessarily just a shutout, it was a shutout going forward during that second half kind of a thing. And it's one of those where Frederick, they need to keep their heads high. This is a win to be proud of.
Next week, we will see Frederick homecoming night. Montbello coming into town, and you guys will see who will be on air for that game. Little guests on air, people.
I was about to say, it will not be us.
It will not be us, Dante. Won't be any of us 3 seniors, so be ready to see who that will be. As an exciting time for Frederick as we just wait.
We wait for the great Dante Lechuga.
And Sonny Del Pitts as a statement win for him. 4 touchdowns. That was an unbelievable game from Del Pitts.
It really was. It truly was just incredible, and I'm excited to see what he has to say about it. He has to be proud of himself as we're going to bounce down to the sideline now with Dante Lechuga and Sonny Del Pitts. Sonny.
Really? Yes, sir. Back here. It's the old Centaurus family.
Del Pitts a little distracted as we will get down there in a minute. As we just wait, Del Pitts is talking to the coaches. He's doing what he does.
Understandable.
Which is valid. He was doing well. He had a great game. So you want to talk to him. As now we will throw it down to the sideline with Dante Lechuga and Sonny Del Pitts. Dante.
Thank you, and I'm here with Sonny Del Pitts. Sonny, second amazing game once again. We'll have to check the numbers, but I think you were close to 200. What do you got to say?
That wasn't all me out there. That's all those guys having my back, and I'm having theirs. We start off this season pretty slow, but, we get this first game win, and we know it's time to take care of business, and let's get this show on the road.
And, Sonny, you're a senior, so last homecoming game coming up for you. What do you guys got to do to win that game?
We just got to do what we do every week. We got to be locked in on film all week, locked in on practice. We can't have any distractions with homecoming. We know we got to have fun, and the best way to celebrate is with a win, so we'll be looking forward to that.
Thank you, Sonny. Back to you, Ian.
Love y'all.
Thank you, Dante. As tonight's broadcast of football between the Skyline Falcons and your Frederick Golden Eagles has been brought to you by the talented crew of students here on the Golden Eagle Broadcast Network. I've been senior Ian McKendry alongside the executive producer of GEBN, senior Carly Evans, our director and content producer of GEBN is senior Wyatt Morrison. Our camera operators have been junior Ethan DeLear and sophomore and technical producer Marcus Key. Our production assistants tonight have been freshman Izzy Modrowski and our senior and outreach producer Joey Summers. The third member of our team down on the sideline is your senior Dante Lechuga. Mr. Marsing is GEBN's advisor. For everybody at FHS, I'm Ian McKendry, and you've been watching the Golden Eagle Broadcast Network. Good night, everybody.